have to stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the show. Good morning. Hi, y'all. It's Wednesday again. Yes, believe it or not, it is Wednesday again. And there are a couple lines open if you want to jump in there. And we're going to try to get to as many calls as possible today. 888-77-53773. 888-77-JESSE. Jesse. Jesse. And my biblical question for this week, it's a doozy. Very interesting responses to it, too. It's a doozy. What are you trying to win? What are you trying to win? What are you trying to win is my biblical question. And it's amazing. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on jesseleepeterson.com/show. jesseleepeterson.com/show. All right? And some of you are out and about early in the morning or wherever you might be. We are heard around the world by everybody and their mama. So some of you are busy. And a lot of you, some of you are podcasting the shows later, but you can listen to the show live by calling the listen line on your iPhone or iPad, and you can podcast later or whatever. But you can be listening live no matter what you're doing, running from the police. Smashing, grabbing, whatever. Buy some fentanyl withdrawals, rushing across the border because you heard that Biden pretended that he's going to do something about it. You could be listening to the show. Isn't that amazing? Or just simply land up at the beach or working out, whatever you're doing, making breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You can call the listen line at TalkStream Live on your iPhone or iPad at 605-615-4131. 605 615-5131. All right? And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. All right? Or Bond JLP Cash App. Bond JLP Cash App. And just to be clear about that phone number on your iPhone or iPad on TalkStream Live, it's 605-615-4131. 4131. All right? Amazing. So it is country and western. I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, it says country and western. But, this is Wednesday. Manhood hours is not cussing Western. That was yesterday. This is Wednesday. Manhood hour. In the third hour, rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Amazing. And so, I want to say now and then remind you as we go through the show today and tomorrow morning, if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. There's no men's forum this week for this month. No men's forum. Every first Thursday night we have the men's forum, but I won't be able to be there this month. So no men's forum tomorrow night, guys. Amazing. It's rare that we have to miss it. But let everybody know that you know that was coming and plan to attend from around the world, wherever they're coming from. No men's forum this tomorrow, Thursday, the first Thursday of the month. And we sent out a notice as well. All right? So some people responded, and again, our battle is a spiritual battle. It's a warfare between good and evil, right versus wrong. Good versus evil, right versus wrong. And so I asked about the men's forum, not the men's forum, but the brand new biblical question. And a lot of people responded to it. What are you trying to win? And some people responded. Some people asked, can you really do anything? Can you really do anything? And one of the topic of trying to win, they say you can go, they tell you know how some people tell you that you can do anything? Sometimes, once in a while, your family member, your parents or somebody tell you that you can do anything. Or the teacher may tell you, you can do anything. You can do it. You hear that a lot, right? Some people don't believe it. Really, some people do not believe that you can do anything. And some people believe it, that you can do anything. Some people even say, you know what? You have a natural talent. Does that feel good to hear that? You have a natural talent. Amazing, huh? And this is about Generation Z, isn't it? Yeah. The anchor baby. I need the anchor baby for this.
Yes, a little bit. You know, you mentioned very nicely here what I was thinking about. You know, they can say you could do anything.
This is the anchor baby, one of the experts on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, by the way.
Morning.
Okay. So, do you believe that you can do anything?
I'm still smoking on it. By do anything, the way I'm thinking about it this morning, I'm not sure. Some people have some talents. And I'm wondering if you could if you really can do anything. And I wanted to kind of show people that Gen Z.
So you do believe that you can do anything, or you don't believe it?
I'm not sure. You're
not sure?
Yeah.
And do you believe that we have a natural talent?
I think about that, yes, I think we do.
And what is a natural talent?
Like something that that you have an affinity to, something that's natural to you. It comes easily to you. And I'm not sure everybody. I'm not sure if something comes easily to one, that it can just easily come to another.
And so, how about if a bank robber, a person is a bank robber, and they know how to do it. They know how to organize and get a few people to wait. One person wait in the car, one person wait by the traffic light. One person wait by the door and go in there and just go right into the safe. Is that a natural talent?
I think it might be. I think it might be a collection of natural talents. You see, you gotta be quick-witted. You gotta be maybe have good ears so that you could put it up against the safe while you're cracking it. Well, maybe that's not how you crack safes these days, but I'm saying it's probably a collection of natural talents.
And so Generation Z, are you saying here that Generation Z have problems with that?
They seem to be full of them, at least when you look it up on social media. You know, you look it up and you get these videos. They're not very inspiring. They seem to be down a little bit in the inspiration department.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is when you look up Generation Z on social media, sometimes the results are not very inspiring. And here's a compilation from of the Generation Z. Watch this.
Generation Z is more free than any previous generation. So how could that possibly contribute to Gen Z's lack of purpose? And how did we even get to the point where our generation's defining characteristics are ones of nihilism and hopelessness?
And newspapers had all but gone. In their places were people who rode alone, together, the light in their eyes reflecting the glow of their smartphone. Do you remember your childhood neighborhood? Chances are, you probably felt like it was one big family. Everybody knew each other, celebrated together, and would offer help when needed.
And there's a whole bunch of them. They're like, we're the loneliest generation, we're the most depressed generation. Even in that one, you see he's putting up stats, trying to tell the people how depressed and messed up Gen Z is, or at least how they see themselves.
Are you a Z, Generation Z?
I think I'm a right in between, right in the cusp, the edge of Z and millennial. So a zillennial.
Oh,
I made that up.
I don't quite. I thought there was a report out a while back that Generation Z are supposed to be smarter than your generation.
The millennials?
The millennium, yeah.
Yeah,
that they're supposed to be smart, that they are not for abortion. They tend to be smarter, and that society was coming back because Generation Z are smarter than your generation. Is that so? Now they're saying that they're depressed?
Well, I don't know if now they're saying it. This is kind of a known thing on social media. It's the impression that you get when you look up this term on social media. That's what you kind of get a lot of these videos and questions. But I kind of remember reporting on a little bit of what you're talking about.
Right. I remember a while back, too, they were saying, well, we have hope now because Generation Z is smarter than, what's your generation?
Millennial?
We'll say hate generation. Millennial. Because you're between Z and X, right? I mean,
right.
And millennial.
And
so they went from hope to depression?
I don't think it's fair to say that just from this report here, right?
Oh,
and that's
okay.
really not what we're trying to say either. That's not quite fair to say. I don't have the data for you on that, the collection on what's really going on with them.
Oh, okay.
It seems like and I share some of what you're saying because it seems like there's some good signs there too. And whatever they're saying about Gen Z, like, oh, it's just a bunch of losers. I'm not quite there either.
I'm not really saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
That last time we did that report, I believe we did a report.
Yeah.
Supposedly they were going to save the world.
I can't quite remember what was in the report.
Yeah.
But I do kind of remember that, yeah, that they're definitely smart.
Definitely
smart, and some of them at least are quite capable. But even the capable ones are still wondering about their loneliness and maybe even their purpose. They're wondering what is their purpose? Can I really do anything like they say?
So are they starting to feel that way because they're getting older?
Maybe.
Because the older you get, the more you become depressed.
Yeah, they say you're supposed to get stronger from traumas and scars, but people get worse.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So millennium born 1981 to 1996. Z born 1997 to 2012.
Okay, well then I'm a millennial.
You're a millennial.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And so I thought that from what I remember of that, that came from Brave AI and Wikipedia. what I remember, that I thought there was hope because Generation Z was going to save the world.
Well, don't lose your twinkle in your eye just from this. We're not. This is just a collection of videos on social media, right? Don't lose your twinkle in your eye for Gen Z there, Jesse.
Okay. And what about Richard?
Okay, so real quick, I had saved this video. I had it saved away in my list of stuff that I keep saving.
Right.
And I put it together the packet, and I saw the biblical question. What are you trying to win? And so there's this guy named Richard Feynman. He died in 1988. Professor, total genius, Nobel Prize winner in physics. And we're talking about quantum physics, like the most complicated, like out there stuff that you can think of in physics, as far as I know. And here's this fascinating video of him talking about being an ordinary person and that anyone can do what he does.
Amazing.
So I wanted you to see it.
So watch this from X.
You asked me if an ordinary person, by studying hard, would get to be able to imagine these things like I imagine. Of course, I was an ordinary person who studied hard. There's no miracle people. It just happens they got interested in this thing, and they learned all this stuff. They're just people. There's no talent, a special miracle ability to understand quantum mechanics or a miracle ability to imagine electromagnetic fields that comes without practice and reading and learning and study. So if you say you take an ordinary person who's willing to devote a great deal of time and study and work and thinking and mathematics and time, then he's become a scientist.
Amazing. And you say?
About what he said there, I'm not entirely sure. This is what I was saying earlier about not being sure. This is what I mean about what if you can do anything. The way I see that is like the bank robber example. If that bank robber you were talking about wrote a book on that, I bet you I could read it and be a pretty good, or at least a sort of good bank robber. You know what I mean? And I think most people can. I think there are different abilities, and so when you look at it the way I'm looking at it, maybe a little intellectually, you come up with a double answer. Yeah, everyone has abilities, but you could work at anything. You know, personally, the way I see the way I see circumstance, culture, maybe a weird way I see those things is I'm starting to see that those are things you can like overcome and get over, which might sound strange, but what I mean is, like people say that you're stuck with you're who you are. You're destined to be what you are and do what you're doing. But I noticed that things like personality and culture are things you can let go of. They're not really you. So I find those things funny things that you can overcome. If you can overcome that, circumstance is something you can overcome.
But I can't respond to the biblical question. This is in relation to the biblical question to Sunday. And then I got to take some calls here. What happened after my generation all the way down? What happened to the people that everybody seems so hopeless?
To everyone after you.
After my generation, I would say. Mm-hmm. What happened to human beings that, like this thing about Generation Z being a hopeless generation, and your generation, the millennials, right? Mm-hmm. Millennials is like a hopeless generation. What happened?
There's nothing about hopeless millennials in this packet. What are you talking about?
Well, the fact that they're talking about, they're lonely, they lost,
Who, the Gen Z or the millennials?
Gen Z.
Now that we figured out I'm a millennial, I'm taking sides. I'm not even talking about millennials here. Yeah, how did it become that way?
It's like that man was saying, Richard.
Yes.
What's his name?
Richard Feynman.
Was saying there was a time when people just kind of lived, mm-hmm. and they did their thing. They went to work. They did what they knew to do. I know one of the guys in my class, well, he was the class behind me. he became a scientist, and nobody knew that he was going to be a scientist because he didn't seem that smart. And he worked for a university. And then people became, in my class, became doctors and lawyers and nurses and things, teachers. They just kind of, and I went to a all black school, right? And everybody, and we didn't know that. I didn't know I'd be doing the work I've been doing for the last 30-some years, right? So we wasn't thinking that way. We just kind of, when we graduated high school, went away. And got a job, and one thing led to another. What happened to the millennials and Z's that they're so lost and hopeless and don't know what to do?
Well, you ever see a kid fall, and then the kid is okay, but the parents run up and go like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And then the kid starts crying.
Right.
Okay. You know how you just described just living?
Yeah, we just kind of, all my life, I've been just kind of living my life. You know, going through the day, whatever happened, deal with it, go through the next day, deal with it, and blah, blah, blah.
Well, they told the Gen Z and millennials to live instead of living. They told them you can do anything instead of letting them discover that. Or you can do anything. You got to figure it out. What are you going to do for your career? You got to know. I'm just throwing some ideas out there.
Oh, that did not happen?
That did happen.
Oh.
And I'm positing a theory here on why they become hopeless.
What happened to the millennials and disease?
Not living.
We
can conclude that with what you said.
Right, because normally you just live. You know, like your parents raised you to work and be able to take care of yourself. At 18, you leave home and go out and just whatever happened, deal with it.
Exactly.
And then you don't have to call mama every day. You don't have to report in. You don't have to, you just go out there and live your life.
You don't have to Google it.
Right. You're not trying to be smart or dumb. You're just trying to get a job, and then you make as much money on that job, and that run out, you go to get a new job, making more money, and you just kind of go from job to job, and then you finally get to a house, and then you finally, you just kind of live. What happened?
I gave you my theory.
And the guys are as bad as the women. Everybody lost. What?
No, I gave you my theory, and I'm agreeing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Catch the Anchor Baby today at 12. The American Anchor Baby. That made me think, though, what happened to natural, like that man was saying, Richard was saying. What's his name?
Richard Feynman?
Yeah. You just kind of live. You become a scientist.
You think anyone could become a scientist, like exactly like him, and do quantum mechanics?
I don't know. If you want to, I guess.
Just any old person just pick us up quantum mechanics.
Like I told you, I know this guy that he was in the class behind me, and he became a scientist, and we were all stunned. And he became a professor because he
sounds like y'all misjudged him.
He invented something that no one else had invented, and he became a scientist, and we were all stunned he became a scientist. And like I know people who were doctors, right? We were stunned they became doctors.
Right.
I know one of the ladies that was in my class, she became a school teacher. And I'm stunned she became a school teacher.
Sounds like you guys had the wrong idea about these people.
We had no idea. We weren't judging them or anything.
Well, then why did you get stunned?
Because they just kind of went off and lived their lives, and that's what happened. You know, they became this or that.
I thought you were stunned because they were like, you were surprised they were like dumb. Yeah, I thought this person wasn't smart enough to be a scientist or something. I thought that's what you meant by we were stunned.
But see, that's what y'all been taught. Everything is.
No, I just thought that from the conversation. I misunderstood.
Oh no, my thing was, in my generation, in the generation for me and before me and before me, right? People just kind of went and lived. When they left home, they grew up as kids, and when they turned 18, 19, they went away, and this is what happened to their life along the way. They lived their lives. They dealt with the things.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Amazing.
What do you think about that?
That's amazing.
You know what I mean?
That is amazing.
Everybody? Yeah,
It's truly amazing.
RPG.
Abadib?
No, no.
Oh, David de?
See, aba.
Aparupusibi.
See.
That's our secret language, folks.
Hate said we weren't raised to work. We were raised to go to school. That's an interesting point because we were raised to work. We were not raised to go to school. Though some people went, they wanted to go, they went, but we were not raised to go. I'm not saying everybody was not raised. Most people were. We were told get a job. Long as you have a talent, meaning that long as you can work with your hands, you can take care of yourself. But now they're raised to go to college, I guess.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit in the vein of what I was saying. I'm remembering school. That's what I was remembering. Oh, you got to know what to do. All right.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you, Nick. 888-775-3773. Jeremiah is a first-time call out of Los Angeles. Jeremiah, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, thank you, Jesse. It's just to start off, it is a great privilege talking to you right now. I've been really wanting to talk to you for like about the last month. I've been watching your show, all your clips, and I got to say, man, you've been a great joy in my life. Every time I come home, I put on a clip of you. I'm laughing. I'm showing my brother. It's great. I come home. That's all I watch. I don't watch anything else anymore, really.
I appreciate that. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, but I just wanted to just kind of get your. I just recently graduated high school. I'm 18, and the question I always get, which everybody says, it's really funny because it's almost like a muscle reaction. They always ask, "Oh, where are you going to college? Where are you going to college?" They never ask you, "What are you doing? What are you going to do after high school?" I just find that really funny.
That's a good point, man. And I hear that a lot too. These young people ask, where are you going to college? Where are you going to college? Like somehow or another, college should be your aim. Everybody got to go to college. And we have some of the dumbest people on this side of heaven coming out of college.
Yeah, and the funny thing is because you could go to college and study something stupid, and then where does it matter where you go to college? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. What?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, my junior year, I didn't really have a plan of what I wanted to do after high school, and my senior year, I came up with, I want to take a gap year. I want to relax. I want to work more. I want to go to Amsterdam and Germany, and then eventually just go to community college to get my associates, and then try out for the LAPD when I'm 21. And I was like, that's the plan. It sounds good. And I was like, I really want to try that out and see how it goes. But yeah, that's just kind of how my plan, how I want to go about my life.
The one thing I can tell you for sure, do what you want though. I can tell you if you do your plan, if you just live your life and not follow the crowd, not be, well, you got to go to college, you're not going to have fun or life unless you do that. You do your plan, you'll look back and you'll be at peace. But if you do someone else's plan, you're not going to be happy.
Yeah, no, I do definitely. When it's really funny when I told some people, oh, I want to be a cop or I want to take a year off. They always try to. Some people just try to put it down in a very indirect way, and
yeah,
I just stand my ground. I'm kind of like, well, I don't really want to be a doctor. I don't want to go to college for 4 years and spend my time with a bunch of, especially with people on the college campuses these days, where they're just always just being mad. They're just pushing down that person.
Yeah.
Why do I want to be there for 4 years with people that are just they don't like me and they get offended easily? You can't say anything anymore. It's not a place I want to be at for 4 years.
Very smart, Jeremiah, and I wish you well. Let me know how it goes. Call me again, all right?
Thank you, Jesse. I really hope to talk to you again. It was a great privilege. I'm going to go tell my whole family about it right now.
Right on. Back in a moment.
7 guaranteed steps to spiritual, family, and financial success guide. Even if you're not
started a business, but you have a job, or you're on welfare, it can help you if you do. Be doers of the word, all right? From rage to responsibility. From rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam. How the black leadership exploits black Americans. They are using them. The blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2663. Okay, 888-7753. 773-888-77-JESSE. There is one line open. Somebody want to jump in there. We will get to all of your calls at 888-7753. 773-888-77-JESSE. JSSE, right? So the Hake Report is coming up at 9 a.m. this morning. The Hake Report.com from 9 to 11. James Hake is on fire. He ain't got that good hair for nothing. Amazing. And then after the Hake Report, Joel Friday TV. He black. Joel Friday TV at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And after Joel Friday TV, the American Anchor Baby. Energy given to him by God. Amazing, huh? Don't forget to follow us on social media. Y'all know what to do, right? Like, follow, ring the bell, subscribe, telephone, telegraph, tell your mama. We're on JLP Talk on X. And we're on Rumble. You got to know how to rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. And Cozy, where Christ is King. Cozy.tv/JLP. And Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. So, like, follow, do what you're supposed to do. You know to do. Amazing. 888-7753-773. Let me go to first-time caller Lynn out of Tennessee. Lynn, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Oh, good morning. Nice to hear your voice and see you on TV.
Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm a Navy veteran. I'm 58 years old, and I agree with everything you say about these women. They didn't just ruin the lives of these young men and women.
Yeah, they have done it to the sons and the daughters, and the reason they have done it is because they have not overcome that anger. They're angry, and that spirit in them is jealous of the spirit of the man because his spirit is of God.
Yes, I totally agree. I told you I talked with my wife about that, and she she kind of agreed with it, but she said that she would never obey if I say something like that in public around her friends and family. She ain't gonna respond to that.
And why not?
I guess the evil in it. I was trying to convince her of the racism. All that stuff is made up. It's fabricated.
Yes, absolutely.
Just to keep the blacks brainwashed.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And I agree. I was in the service, and like you said, they lowered the standards for blacks. I was in there around black people, and they didn't want to perform their jobs or nothing like that. They was always crying and criticizing about just nothing.
Are you black, man?
Yes, I'm black.
Just for the record.
I'm all the way black.
You
But I'm
black?
like a black sheep in my family. I'm black. Amazing.
Amazing.
So, yeah, I was just a black sheep in my family. I was for everything that was right in my family. It seemed like all my other siblings, they was like for everything that was wrong in society. You know, they just went along with the brainwashing and everything.
Over the years, Lynn, I've noticed that that there in every family there seemed to be one or two of the kids, the male or the female kids, that they're part of the family, but it's like they've been set apart from the family. Even though they're in that family, they're still not really in the family. It looked like God set them apart. And that's why it's easy for you to see the truth, because you were not, you were there, but you wasn't, you were like the black sheep in the family because you loved the truth. And it seemed to be that way in most families.
And I was born in 65, so I'm 58. And I had an older sister. She used to just shoot that rhetoric to us about white people, and she was a crackhead most of her life, and she didn't even have work nowhere. It was amazing. And she had convinced my mother of this, and my mother, I went to the Navy. They didn't even support me while I was in the Navy. All they wanted was my money.
Yeah.
It was sad. I'm like, yeah, he's right. It was so funny to me.
What a mess.
Right. My sister, she was the oldest. She orchestrated the whole thing. She ran a Ponzi scam on me when I was in the Navy. She hit me up for like $10,000.
Whoa.
And man, it was just sad. And, you know, after I realized I didn't have the support from my family, so I liked the Navy. I loved it, but I didn't want to just risk my life for some money, so I just went on and got out. And I prefer the civilian side of life more than the military part.
So, Lynn, when you tell the blacks, or anyone really, but the blacks the truth about there's no racism, the nature of the woman is evil, how do they respond to you?
They call me a coon. They call me names. Even my own son, he called me. They said that you've been whitewashed.
Yeah.
Just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Because in their mind, they've been convinced by the mother of the family and the grandmother, like you said, and it just trickled down to the children. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. They want to say they're Christians, but they don't believe in the word. How you gonna say you're saved and you're a Christian and you don't believe in the order of God? That don't make any sense.
And they don't have love for all. They hate the white man, but they're supposed to be loving God. How you gonna love God but hate the white man? That doesn't even make sense to me.
Right. And my slogan is I ask what's wrong with the blacks. they tear up everything. They destroy everything.
Yeah.
And they get mad when you bring it to their attention.
Yeah.
I got in an argument with a pastor in the grocery store about these kids, and I said I said the children here they're so bad. I said even the church don't want them, and then he's going to reply, I want them.
What a mess.
But I love your show.
Thank you.
And how do I contact you guys? I want to send you guys some money, get a couple of your merchandising and that stuff.
You can go to, you can call 888. What's the number?
800-411-BOND.
I can't hear you.
800-411-BOND. 1-800-411-BOND.
800-411-2663. Or you can go to rebuildingtheman.com. All the information is there, too.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm trying to get the word out, but there's so many beta males around. It's like, it's overwhelming.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but stay with it. The one person have more power than 1,000. So you stay with it, stay with it, stay with it.
All right, nice talking to you, man, and y'all good. God bless y'all, and y'all keep up the good work.
We will, and thank you for your support, Lynn. I appreciate it.
All right, it's an amazing show.
Amazing.
Bye.
Bye now. Amazing. Nice. Super chat.
Super chats.
There's one line open, 888-77 Jesse.
James Fisher bought 3 coffees. Thank you for pointing the way to God. This Henry David Thoreau quote is amazing. Check out this quote from the 1800s. However mean your life is, meet it and live it. Do not shun it and give it and call it hard names. It is not so bad as you are. It looks poorest when you are richest. The fault finder will find faults even in paradise. Love your life, poor as it is. You may perhaps have some pleasant, thrilling, glorious hours, even in a poor house. The setting, this goes on and on. The setting sun is reflected from the windows of the almshouse as brightly as from the rich man's abode. The snow melts before its door as early as in the spring. I do not see, but a quiet mind may live as contentedly there and have as cheering thoughts as in a palace.
Amazing. Thank you. Pithy.
Keep it pithy, but thank you.
Yeah, that's a deep. I'm about to reread that when I have time to.
Yeah,
really
I'll resend it to you.
Okay. Amazing. Thank you.
Someone bought a coffee. Pride Month, independent women, feminists, etc., all designed to destroy men because without God-fearing men, there is no more light.
Amazing. Thank you. Amazing.
Ryan B. bought a coffee. You don't have to talk about it right now, but I would like to know more about what do you mean when you say Jesus has already returned?
It is done. The kingdom of heaven is inside of us. The devil has been defeated. Your sins have been forgiven. And there's a brand new eternal life inside of us. It's all done. And it's unfortunate that the Christians are still waiting for Jesus to return when he has already come. Look within, and you will see him. It's done. You don't need to wait. You just need to live now. You don't need to wait for anything. What are you waiting for? Waiting for Jesus, they say. It's already done. As Christ said on the cross, it is done. It's completed. All right? So look within. And the way you look within is just be aware of what's happening inside of you. Watch those thoughts. All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. So watch that. Stay present, and you shall know the kingdom of heaven. You have God in you, you have Christ in you, and you have the Spirit of the Holy Spirit inside you. Everything's done. It's crazy that most people are still waiting. What are you waiting for? Why not live? But you can't do it until you gotta let the anger go. Anger is evil. Anger is nasty, evil, dark, wicked, evil. And you'll be stunned, worn out when you see what anger, which is evil, has done to you and what it's done to other people. It's going to blow your mind. I don't think most people understand the depths of evil. You think evil, oh, that's evil, yeah, that's mean. It's way... That's why Christ said, don't trust an angry person. An angry person, I don't care who it is, your mama, your daddy, your papa, your friend, your children, worker, whatever. An angry person is evil. The heart is evil. But it's inside of us. Look within and you'll see it. Do the silent prayer so you can be silent and watch. All right? Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. That was Ryan B. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Alan Balmer bought 3 coffees. God said my ways are easy and my burdens are light, yet the world says life is suffering. We might have to endure some pain, but suffering is just an opinion about the pain. All thoughts are lies.
All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. Amazing. Thank you.
Seeker bought a coffee. Can God be put into words?
No. You can't. Really, really, really can't. And that's why you need to pay attention to what's happening inside, because it's hard to put what really God is like into words. That's a good question. Amazing question. Absolutely. No, you can't put them into words. You have to live it. You have to see it and live it. Amazing. Thank you.
Danny Moore bought a coffee. All right, Jesse and the lads. Jesse, does the spiritual order, God over Christ, over man, man over woman, still apply if the woman has returned to the Father, or is he no longer over her?
Nothing changes. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. That's just the way it is. So it doesn't change. And when women return to the Father, there is no discussion of or fight against the order, because they're now in their proper place. And they love the order. It's only those that have not found the order that does not love the order. Amazing. Thank you.
It's me, Xenia, monthly supporter on Rumble, J.S. Lee Peterson Rumble subscriber.
Thank you.
I'm a millennial, the older end. I remember being 14, getting a job so I could move out by 18. I got it at 14, worked retail, Christmas time, any hours I could get. Illegals had most of the jobs for teens in New York.
Amazing. What happened to your generation that way of just getting, like, what's the person's name just?
Xenia.
Xenia said, what happened y'all just don't get up and live? Why everything you need some expert, you need this and that, and blah, blah, blah.
For some reason, the boomers and the older people than boomers would ask you, what do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Right.
They didn't tell you just work, get a job.
Right.
The heck? So, they also pushed college. Get a degree. You'll have more opportunities. You'll get more money. Blah, 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 blah.
College became, it's like marketing thing. It was about the money.
Yeah.
Because I remember before college became a big deal, trade schools were a big deal. Get a trade, learn how to work, you'll be fine, right?
Yep.
And everybody and their mama wanted to go to trade school. But then they decided they need more money, so they start pushing, meaning that advertisement and marketing and all that money-making thing. They decided they wanted more money, so they said, let's go. College is the way to go. You're not going to make it in life unless you have a college degree. They lied. It was for the money. And look what happened as a result. Everybody that got to college, they're in debt. Not everybody. Some people have rich people, I guess. But now they fighting, as Jeremiah from California was saying, they fighting in college. White people and the Jews are hated in college, and the kids been brainwashed, but yet they're in debt.
Yeah, it's a big racket.
Yeah.
They don't even use college a lot of the time for making more money or getting a useful degree. They say, oh, just go to college just to expand your horizons or open your mind or learn how to think and stuff like that. Nothing actually useful for working and
right. They destroy your mind in college.
And it's subsidized, and it's just a big, like I said, racket.
What a mess!
They make new editions of the same old textbook every year, and you have to get new textbooks. The government subsidizes it, so it becomes a world unto itself that doesn't really create all that much value.
Yeah.
The value is very limited, and depending on what you do.
What a mess!
Yeah.
Thank you.
And let me just double. Oh yeah. Another one from It's Me, Xenia. Thanks, JLP and Hake, for the comments read. I appreciate it. Thanks, hands emoji, Christian cross, and American flag with a rumble rant. Nice.
Thank you. Amazing.
And let me just double check for any others that came in. Shout out to Wolf336, Know You, and Kid Combo 1.0 for the lemons over on D Live. And I think that's all for now.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Very much. Appreciate it. 888-7753-773. Let me go to a first-time call out of Canada, Ontario, Canada. Michael. Michael, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hello, Jesse.
How you doing, sir?
All is well, of course.
Good.
Yes. I just wanted to ask about the bond questions for this week.
The assignment or the biblical question?
About counting your demons.
Oh, the assignment. Go ahead.
Yeah. How do you count something that's not real?
And what do you mean not real?
Well, the demons are of the darkness, right?
Yes.
So once the light shines upon them, they don't exist anymore. The darkness is just the absence of the light.
But the demons still exist. They just find a new person to make a home into.
Okay. All right.
Have you been counting your demons?
I've been trying, Jesse. I tried Sunday night, and I just I started to feel like a little mentally slow.
Do you know what they look like when they appear inside of you?
No, I know what they do to me though.
Oh, okay. We gotta have somebody gonna get the phone out there, folks. Don't worry about it. Just hold on. You're on hold. Nick or somebody pick up the calls out there. So you have not been counting them yet, right?
No, I've just been counting when they do things to me. What I once thought was me, where I get the judgment and the blame, and I like feel that. And even being on hold for the line, I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna talk to Jesse. Like, oh, this is scary. And then I just be still, and I'd be like, okay, well, that's ridiculous. Like, he just
right on. Nice. Well, I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday about the assignment. I want to hear the feedback from the folks to see how they did with that.
Yes, I'm very interested to hear what they have to say.
Thank you, Michael. Amazing call. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. By now, 888-775-3773. Rico out of California. Rico, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing this morning?
All is well, Rico.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I just had a concern or a question, comment, whatever we can go about. How do you feel about Donald Trump winning or actually losing his trial?
I don't feel anything about it at all because it's his situation that he has to deal with. But I have much respect for the way that he deal with the trial and other things that are happening. I don't think I've ever seen in my generation, my lifetime, anyone deal with situations in the way the Great White Hope is doing it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think what kind of like threw him under the bus is when he got impeached 2 times. Now, if he wouldn't have got impeached twice, he probably would have beat that. I think that kind of swayed the opinion of the jury.
Well, and he gonna appeal this thing that happened in New York. He gonna appeal it too. So, Rico, thank you. I got to take a break. 2 more hours to go. Back in a moment. Hake coming with the Hake News. Was taken away from me 29 years ago. I forgave my mother who tried to turn me away from my father, and I returned to my father, and through him, my father on earth, and through him, I was able to return to God. No man or woman can return to God unless you go through the Son. And men are sons of God. There may be weak, pathetic examples of it, but it's the spiritual order of life. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. So get from race to responsibility. I write about that. Go to my website, rebuildingtheman.com for an autographed copy, or call 800-411-BOND. And donate to my nonprofit, Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. We are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man.
A whole lot of mess going on in the world. The jobs are looking thin for those Zoomers, college graduates. Are they Zoomers? Immigration, also known as invasion. And Modi. That's not mess. Modi won, I think, in India. I don't know if that's mess or not. This is the end of hour 1 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It's Wednesday, June 5th, AD 2024. There is one line open. You can call in right now during Hake News, not fake news. And JLP will be right back to your calls. Appreciate it, guys. Hang tight. Commie and Nonsense Network, CNN, reports the U.S. job market, according to them, has been historically strong over the last few years, with layoffs supposedly at their lowest level since December 2022, just less than 2 years ago. Sounds historic. However, a decline in job openings is now driving up the unemployment rate, according to them, for recent college grads trying to enter the workforce, according to federal data, if you believe it. What a mess, huh? It also messing up the jobs, potentially, I think. Immigration, better known as invasion. Crooked Joe Biden, the so-called president, yesterday, Tuesday, announced new immigration restrictions with his executive order that will allow the administration to ban asylum seekers so-called asylum seekers, right, who cross the U.S.-Mexico border illegally. Should have been doing that from the start. What the heck? And they're not even really doing it completely. The executive action marks the administration's most dramatic, it's all drama, move on the southern border yet, as Crooked Joe tries to gain the upper hand on immigration just weeks from the first presidential debate. All phony politics, right? Using the same authority that our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, tried to use in office. The measure could be turned on and off. What? Meaning they turn it off? Ridiculous. And it would be lifted when there's a daily average of fewer than 1,500 encounters between the ports of entry, so said officials. Meaning if we just let them trickle in continuously. So evil, huh? Several so-called progressives blasted the move. They're better known as communists. And the evil ACLU, also which should be deported, said that they intend to file a lawsuit to stop the action from going into effect. Maybe we should deport the judges and lawyer liars who are complicit in this mess, as well as the Biden administration. Maybe? I don't know, wishful thinking. Let's go, Modi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi declared victory in India's election. He got his historic third term, right? After more than 640 million people cast their votes at polling stations across the country of India. This is a victory for the world's largest democracy, so said Modi supporters in New Delhi. New Delhi or New Delhi? However, Modi's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party fell short of securing the 272 seats needed for an outright majority in parliament. A stunning upset that leaves them reliant on coalition partners to form a government. This is a personal blow to Modi, who had triumphantly vowed to win a 400-seat supermajority in this year's election. Couldn't do it. Lame. Meanwhile, India stocks plunged Tuesday as Modi's dream of a landslide victory slipped away, raising doubts about his ability to push through more aggressive economic reforms. Stay aggressive, man. Atlanta water problems. Did you hear about this? Atlanta officials anticipate the city's water service will return to normal today after a series of burst water mains left large portions of the city without safe drinking water. Atlanta. What are you, run by blacks or something? And they launched the city into a state of emergency. Parts of the city had been without water or under boil advisories. Boil your water. Make sure it's clean. Since Friday, causing significant disruptions to medical and educational facilities. The string of breaks has highlighted the decaying infrastructure, communist buzzword, crisscrossing Atlanta, and many other major American cities too. We're repairing pipes from the 1920s, 30s, 40s, and our infrastructure is crumbling. So said LaShandra Burks. She's the chief operating officer. LaShandra Burks. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP, Hour 2.
got to stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the second hour of the show today. Manhood Hour is coming up in the third hour. You can get involved. You can jump in there now. There's a line open at 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. Jesse. Jesse. And my biblical question for this week, and it's a doozy. It really, if you really, really, really want to know yourself, pay attention to self. What? That's not the biblical question. What's that? What are you trying to win? What? That's not it either. You need it? They're working on it. What are you trying to win? Nick, come in and help him. What are you trying to win? It's the biblical question for this week. Amazing one, too. What are you trying to win? And again, the biblical questions are put there to encourage you, those who want to overcome their hell, to encourage you to think and know for yourself. All right? What are you trying to win? Amazing. And if you're busy and you just can't sit and watch the show live, you will later. You can podcast the show, of course, but you could be listening to the show live on your iPhone or iPad by calling 605-615-4131. That's 605-615-4131. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to Buy Me a Coffee. BuyMeACoffee.com. BuyMeACoffee.com. Or Bond JLP Cash App. Bond JLP Cash App. Buy me a Cash App, Bond, all right? I'm thinking about several things I want to do here, and I'm trying to put things in order here. I need my experts to come in, and I have something that I want to discuss with them, and I have not discussed this with them yet, and so it's like fresh off the cuff. Joel, you have good hair. Your hair look like white people. How you get all that curly hair? Are you white?
Well, my mom is a lot of white. My mom is French. So, yeah, my mom's side of the family has a lot of white in them, so that's where part of it comes from.
So you and your family think that you're better than the blacks?
Yeah. A little bit.
Just because your hair better?
But my little brother, who is more light-skinned than me,
right?
His hair is tougher.
He got nappy
more black.
hair?
Is blacker.
He have nappy?
Yeah, it's nappier for sure.
Oh.
But nappy hair looks like when it's cut up nice, it looks better on black people than people with other kind.
With the good hair?
Right, because it looks darker, it looks cleaner.
The Napa hair?
Yeah, when it's lined up and edged up right.
Oh. How come black people like to line their hair up?
It'd be cute.
And then as you get older and your hair starts to recede?
And then they push it back.
The line go even further back. I was like, leave it line.
I used to tell the barbers, don't do the edge up.
Me too.
I'll do it myself.
And then sometimes they'll do it anyway, and then, because the barber be trying to make their work look good, right?
Yeah.
And you walk away there, tick.
And they always go back.
They go way back. I'm like, maybe if you didn't touch it, it'll last longer. Oh, what a mess.
Now black people do a thing where they get a spray painted on, like they do the sharp, but they get a spray painted also to make it look even sharper. So black people really like to look cute.
Amazing. Anyway, my experts are here. That's JLP Friday TV. He black. He's here every day, Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday from 11 to 12 Pacific time. And one of the experts here.
This way.
And the expert on the network. That's JLP Friday. Next to him is the Hake of the Hake Report, Monday through Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. Expert here as well. The guy with the good hair. Did you know Hake told me that he doesn't comb his hair. He just runs his finger through it.
I'm a little jealous of that.
I know. What a mess, huh?
Yeah.
And here we need pitfalls.
I know.
We need heavy combs.
Pitchforks.
My barber got a big black comb this thick for the fro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he run his finger through it.
A little spitting finger. Huh?
How come God gave the white people the better hair and everything?
But they didn't admit, because they gave the black people the speed and the entertainment.
But then the blacks are jealous of that if a white person know how to speed. Remember the white girl can play basketball better than the black girl?
Oh, yeah.
And now the black girls are jealous.
They're mad about it.
They're jealous.
Well, the white girls work hard. So.
Yeah. But the white girl and the black girls are jealous. I know one thing, that white girl that played basketball, she better not come up in there with a black man. It's over.
Oh, yeah.
Here she is, the best at the basketball and the black man. She think that black woman pushed her down the other day. But anyway. And this is the Anchor Baby, the American Anchor Baby show, Monday through Thursday at 12, and on Fridays, 4 p.m. 4 p.m. The guy with the energy. So I want to have you guys respond to something. All right? This is about the order of God. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. And there was a discussion about that order from a reality-based podcast. Reality-based podcast with Jake Julius. And Jake has been here before.
Yeah.
And he was on your show, too.
Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake Julius, Jake the Snake. And he had, on his show, I guess at the time, was he was talking to Pearl. Pearl been on the Fallen State.
Yeah.
Pearl. And they were talking about the order of God. So I want to play this soundbite and then get you all. So this is from Reality-Based Podcast with Jake Julius from Jake the Snake TV and Pearl. What's Pearl show called?
Jake the Rattlesnake, by the way. Just pearly things?
Just pearly things.
Just pearly
And
things.
it's Jake the Rattlesnake, not Jake the Snake.
Oh, does it say
Does it
Rattlesnake?
say Jake the Snake or Jake
Yeah,
the
it's
Rattlesnake?
it's Rattlesnake. Jake the Snake is somebody else.
Oh.
Well, he calls himself Jake the Snake, but it might be Rattlesnake TV.
Okay.
Yeah, Rattlesnake.
Jake the Snake sounds like the wrestler from the...
And so Jake referenced Jesse Lee Peterson when he explained to his guest Pearl about the order of God. Watch this soundbite.
Societies get more and more developed women get more and more rights, right? So, and like back in the days of chivalry, in the days of the knights in shining armor, the whole part of chivalry was,
this is the wrong
being
one.
virtuous towards women and making.
That's the second one.
Let's play the first one. Here it is.
I don't know. Maybe I've just found a few nice girls, but there are actually nice girls out there, and you're laughing at me.
No, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at. I'm sure you've dated nice women. I'm sure there's nice women in the church. What I'm saying is the same patterns of behavior is very similar to women inside and outside of the church. Again, I look for patterns of behavior. I don't see, because a lot of times in the church, what I find, it's the mutual submission. So like they'll say, they know how to like say that, yes, I believe in submitting to my husband, but only if he loves me like Christ loved the church. And like, what does that mean? That just means
conditional submission.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
And you say?
I like the idea because her perspective on it is, for some reason, I thought there was a different clip in there. But I like the perspective that she has on, like, the women in the church. They only like to obey based off of if he's nice or, like, if he's worthy of obedience.
Yeah, they always say, well, I'll obey him if he does this.
Yeah.
That ain't obey.
Right. And oftentimes you'll hear the women say that, and you ask them, will you obey? And I was like, well, I'll obey him if I respect him or if he gives me a reason to obey. But then that's not of love. That's all based off of what he can do for you. So she's right about that.
So how they going to decide, the women going to decide what obey?
Exactly.
If he does what I think he should do, then I obey. That ain't obeying.
Because as soon as she disagrees, then she's not going to, but it should be no matter what, this is what you're called to do, period.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what I think that Pearl's talking about, the women in the church. They go based off of the conditional version and not based off of what God really meant you to do, is obey, period, even if your husband is not doing, quote unquote, what he's supposed to be doing.
God doesn't tell the women, obey your husband if.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you say, Anchor Baby?
No, I think Pearl's been on this. It's quite easy, I notice, in the right wing, young Christians, anything I've been paying attention to just say the right things, and that is the right thing, essentially.
Yeah.
So if you say, especially when it comes to dating and love of the woman, they're just as, even if they're the guys talking about men's rights and what's going on, they call it red pill. You got to take the red pill on women, on their true nature. And these people who are supposedly so up on all the info and they know woman's nature, don't know that they lie, I guess. And, we're talking about women here. About the submission thing, I guess I'll say one more thing. There's something interesting about realizing that there is a correct way of obeying, regardless of what the man is doing, how he's coming, like if he's weak, etc. That's like a total internal thing. It's something that you do. That's not based on the other party, if I'm making sense here.
Right.
Yeah, doesn't that lend to that is wrong, what people are thinking, that, only obey if he's doing X, Y, or Z. It's totally an individual thing.
Right. It's crazy the way they put that.
Yeah.
But he didn't mention the order of God or anything.
Yeah.
So it didn't really go the way.
Must have got mixed up a little bit in putting them in. So,
yeah, do we have the one where he's...
I'm not sure. I'm not sure now. Now I'm not sure.
You on drugs?
Now I'm confused. Oh, wait, is that even in there? But there is another one that talks about...
Is you on drugs?
Something's going on.
I had a caller this morning. He said his sister was on crack cocaine.
Yeah. She was a crackhead most of her life.
Oh, yeah.
And she up there trying to run everything, talking about racism and this, and she a crackhead. Are you a crackhead?
I guess I did something wrong. I don't know what happened.
Don't talk about the order.
I was confident.
You what?
I was confident.
I
too.
know.
They're talking about the order, though.
What?
Right? They're talking about the
In some
order.
kind
I
of
know,
way.
What's in there.
but we wanted to introduce the order so people
Right.
know exactly what we were talking about.
Lord have mercy.
Joel put that together for us. I'm sorry.
I tried.
I'm sorry, he black. Because I didn't even play the clip
know.
that he told me to play.
And then you read it as order, and then
Uh-huh.
this popped up. I was like, wait.
I'm like,
No, we talk in order.
I'm like,
And
what?
the next one is chivalry 100%.
Yeah, the next one for sure.
I'm like, I don't
is-
know what Jake talking about. This ain't the order.
Oh, are you going to get to James? I just thought of something else.
Yeah.
About the
I'm sorry about the clip, folks. Joel did that.
Sorry, y'all.
about marriage.
That's why I don't hire black producers.
Sean never did that.
I know. Sean never did that.
Well, anyways. That's me being evil. Let me pick out.
And you up there looking just crazy?
Pick out the
Are
things
you a
did
crackhead?
And I'm thinking like, wait, I hope they don't catch it, but it's obvious.
I didn't until you said so, actually.
I did. So I'm thinking, I didn't hear him mention the order at all.
Lord, and I have
He
to
ain't do
find
no
it.
reference to I had mentioned the order or anything.
And there's a clip of there where you're talking, like they reference you and they talk about you, and that's the main one I wanted to show. It ain't even in here.
Can you describe it?
You don't crackhead.
So basically, there's a clip of Jake talking to Pearl, and they bring up you, and they say, Jake is like, you sound like you and Jesse Lee Peterson would get along. Do you know him? And she's like, yeah, I know him. Like she identifies with it. And then he goes, Jesse talks about the order being what it is, and that God brings the
God in Christ, Christ
Right.
in man, man over woman, woman over children.
right, and God brings it down to the man first, but evil comes from below
Right.
to the woman.
Right.
And Pearl just agreed with it, and they just went back and forth on what that was. It was a good clip too, but I guess they ain't never gonna see it.
Pearl's on it, though. Hey.
And you've been working on this clip for a whole week.
For a long time.
Forever. And still got it wrong. He black.
Sorry, chat.
Him describing it is almost as good.
Everybody keep
Him
your shirts.
describing it is almost as good.
Almost ain't good enough.
Oh.
99 and a half won't do.
Everybody keep your shirts in the office, and we'll just wear them again and talk about the clip.
There you go.
And then we'll put it together. Just keep the shirts handy. We're trying to put together a video.
I don't even know where to go with this.
Well,
now.
the next one for
Talk about
sure.
the order.
The next one for sure is right.
James, you want to say anything about that first one?
Oh,
that
yeah.
wasn't about anything?
Jake talked about nice girls.
Right.
There's a lot of girls who seem nice. A lot of people seem nice.
Yeah.
Until push comes to shove. Like one of
Yeah.
the guys who came to the men's conference and listens and chats and stuff, done different things with Bond. He said that the woman will say yes and agree to everything until you get married. And then everything is challenged.
Yeah.
It's nonstop challenge. So
That's why it's hard to even go based off of somebody's word when they say, will you obey, you ask, and then they say, yeah.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
hard to tell.
You know that when they answer that fast, they're lying.
And if you're paying attention, you'd see the little conflicts all along the way.
Yeah, yeah,
You see
exactly.
Right.
You see the little ones.
Yeah.
And don't lie to yourself, they will be big.
Yeah.
And marriage, on that conversation, because of the clip we play, people like to. They're now talking about marriage. The girls are learning what to say, what's a man, what we should do. But it's like you agreed to marriage. That doesn't mean that very word should mean I agreeing to obey. Doesn't
Right,
not agreeing
right.
to obey if he's this, or da.
But everybody's definition of marriage is all jacked up. Everybody thinks it's whatever they want it to be.
I remember once I did a wedding, and when it got to the woman's part, I asked her, do you promise to love and to obey?
I remember that. I think I was there.
And I repeated over and over, do you promise to love and to obey? And she said, yes, I promise. You talk to God then. I promise God, right? And then 6 months of marriage ended.
Oh.
And she was like, because she would not obey.
Wow.
And she was like, well, I didn't know that that's what obey meant. I didn't mean that.
That's a tough one for
Terrible. Reminds me of people say the right things with regard to what we should do with immigration, what we should do with deportation, what we should do with the economy and all that stuff. And they can pop off and say everything perfectly.
Right.
But then when push comes to shove, once they actually get in office, they can't hack it.
Right.
They cater, they cave under pressure. They're not as disciplined as all that. So the character matters more really than being able to say the right thing.
Yep. Amazing. So should I just put this on hold?
Do that next one. No, do that next one.
Which one with Pearl?
Oh, yeah.
The one with Pearl?
That second one is correct.
Here's where Pearl explained why she believed chivalry was never a good thing. When I was growing up, I didn't know anything about chivalry.
Like opening doors for...
Why they had to put a name on that instead of just open the doors?
Oh.
But watch this from Pearl.
The facts kind of do show that as societies get more and more developed, women get more and more rights, right? So, and like back in the days of chivalry, in the days of the knights in shining armor, the whole part of chivalry was, being virtuous towards women and making life very easy for women. But the narrative these days is that women were oppressed and women were chained to an oven.
I don't even think chivalry was a good thing. Because
you don't think so?
Men used to kneel. It's women saying we're more special and awesome than we are, and we want freedoms, rights, and privileges we don't deserve. Men used to kneel to kings. That's where proposing came from. And then the women said, no, kneel to me, and the men said, okay.
Do you think that it's a man's job to protect a woman?
Yeah. Yes. But I don't think it's a man's job to protect every woman.
So she doesn't think chivalry is good at all. She did opening doors, none of that stuff is good. She's saying that was a mistake, according to her.
When did they start calling it chivalry?
I thought that was always a thing. I didn't know that was never said back in the day.
When I don't never remember when we did open the door for the woman, right? We opened for the wrong reason.
I was gonna ask, was it natural when you did it? We
weren't trying to be chivalry.
Was it natural back then to do that kind of stuff for ladies, like be nice and like,
if you were dating and you wanted a good ending of the date that night, I can't, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, but, I know.
Not entirely sure.
But normally you don't open the door.
But what about for like mother or sister or auntie? Like, if you open the door for them to let the lady go in first or no?
Go in first where?
Like to the store or to the restaurant.
I mean, is she like going through the driver's side to the other side?
Well, not that, because that one feels like a date when you open the car door for somebody.
Oh, you mean, into a building.
Into like a building,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, yeah, you do it because, the woman is a weaker vessel. So she coming in, you open the door. You hold the door for her.
But for the car, you don't do that for the sister. That's weird.
Nobody.
Nobody? Not even a date?
You go on that side, you get in. I'm on this. I'm driving.
You got hands.
That's right.
Dang. I didn't even know all that.
Where did the word chivalry come in for that, James?
I don't know. I feel like when I was a kid, it started, and going into like maybe older, they started to say chivalry is dead, and like it was a bad thing. But I don't remember it being. I remember some women would push like be chivalrous. Some of the more dainty women would be like my mother. I could imagine saying be chivalrous.
But chivalry sounds weak. Isn't that a weak word?
It doesn't. It doesn't
be
sound
chivalry.
Weak to me. I sound just like a gentleman.
It's supposedly a code of conduct.
It's a word, yeah.
Like a gentleman.
From the 11 and 1200s.
Chivalry.
From medieval Christian knighthood and stuff like that.
Is this supposed to be like a word for
gentleman's
respect?
behavior?
It's, like respectful behavior.
Well, I guess now it's like training word. It's huh?
So are you guys chivalry?
Chivalrous?
I would say.
Are y'all chivalrous?
I do all right.
You chivalrous?
I think so. Why Why you laughing so hard? I remember one time I worked with a girl at work, and I thought she was cute. She was cute. And she worked with me, and we kind of liked each other a little bit. And then at work, I would go on the side and open the car door for her. And it felt weird at work. But on a date, it feels okay. So I don't think
So you chivalrous?
Yeah, why not?
Are you chivalrous?
Girls
James?
like the chivalry. If you're not chivalrous, she's not gonna like you.
A little.
And so that's why you want to be weak so she can like you?
You want her to like you.
Oh.
Or you ain't gonna.
And you were doing it at work and everywhere?
Only on dates.
James, are you chivalrous?
A little.
But don't he says it like it's a negative. It's not negative, James. Don't be ashamed, James.
I look up chivalry on Wikipedia and look at what they show. It's a man bowing to a woman.
That does look a little.
Let me see if I can show this.
A lot of beta.
Oh yeah.
They make it
See
worse.
how weak that is?
Let me turn up my brightness.
But that's the liberal version of chivalry.
No, this is from the. I don't know. This is before liberals existed.
That's not true. Liberals been around since right after the monarchies ended. The liberals started.
There
You
go.
see that, Jesse?
Yeah, I see it.
I don't know
That's
if the people
weak.
can see it.
Right? He
got-
looked crazy. He
even
looked
got a-
crazy.
How's the picture?
His horse is even
Does
weak.
it look okay?
Another horse down there too.
It's a horse bowing down to her, too?
That's what it looked
A little.
like.
Is that too
But
bright?
No, it's perfect.
That's not what chivalry should
It's
be.
perfect.
No, it depends on.
Oh.
Ooh. How's that?
Fine.
Anyway.
Okay, thank you, James.
Okay.
Go away.
But I do
Oh, I
think
could
there's a
just drag it
certain
in
level
the
of like decency you should show to a lady.
What does that mean?
Like a little bit of chivalry, a little bit of like
Why?
kindness. I don't know. It's like I don't quite know exactly why it should be done, but it doesn't feel wrong to do it.
But it feel right?
I mean, it doesn't feel right or wrong. It feels like it's okay. It doesn't feel like when I'm doing it, like when I would do it in the right situations. It doesn't feel like it feels like the man's job is to protect the woman to a certain extent.
But
and that's a
opening
part
the
of it.
door ain't protecting her.
But it's like shows like a level of dominance, and it's like I don't know how to explain it, but like a respect to the women who.
Why?
I don't know, but it is. It feels that way.
Anchor Baby, are you chivalrous?
Can I say first though, all this talk on chivalrous, you should be chivalrous.
Oh, Anchor Baby is not chivalrous.
Huh? Why you say that? Oh,
He doesn't even answer texts.
it's true. I'm not.
He doesn't even. I heard that he doesn't even text his girlfriend.
Are you
You've been
chivalrous?
talking. You've been talking. You've been talking to her. Something? I'm in trouble. We're gonna have a. We're gonna
We gotta ask her.
Look, I want things to go well, so hey, let's do the intervention. I want things to work out.
Are you chivalrous, Anchor Baby?
Yeah, actually, I am. But can I say something about
You
that?
chivalrous?
Yeah, no, I am chivalrous,
Right
but not
on,
in the way
Nick.
you think. No, don't put your arm
Oh,
up.
come on.
No, you don't understand me, man. I'm not chivalrous like that.
Oh, go on. Whatever.
He said, I'm not chivalrous like that.
We're gonna ask the girlfriend. We're gonna find out the truth.
She'll tell you, Jesse. Don't tell. Jesse's gonna put me on blast because I don't open. Nobody said this.
Nick is not chivalrous.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Nobody said it.
I'm getting in my car, his car right next to my car. He and his girlfriend taking off. They're going to the car, right? Nick jumped in on his side, the driver's side, and his girlfriend struggling trying to open the door to get in.
I can see that too.
Because Nick has a big car, the girlfriend is thin. She can hardly open the door. Nick just sitting there
And
waiting.
he's like, get in.
I'm
Girl.
like, Nick, open that door with
See?
that woman.
I can see that.
You guys don't
Nick is
understand.
not chivalrous.
I am chivalrous, okay? Yeah, and you don't just even understand that word. It's just training. It's just
But you don't even test
open
her
the
back.
door is chivalry to you. No. That's just training. But we got a break to go to.
You don't even return text to her.
I do. Now that's slander, and maybe we got to talk. And maybe I'm in trouble. Okay.
Back in a moment.
We
To
have
your
a
phone
counseling
call.
service, and I have to admit,
thanks to God. It is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingaman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven. Okay, I want to get to some calls and super chats. The checkout of merch, rebuildingaman.com/store, rebuildingaman.com/store, right? And if you, I will do personal shout-outs for you as well. Birthday shout-outs, weddings, anniversaries, encouragements, or whatever the occasion is. Go to Cameo, CAMEO.com/Jesse Lee Peterson, CAMEO.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Let me go out to the UK and talk to first-time caller Luke, all the way from the UK. Luke, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Jess. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Luke. Welcome to the show.
So I just had a question. I'm a big fan, but after reading Scam, in I think it was the second chapter, you referenced Israel as being America's sister nation. Can you explain what that means to you?
Israel is our ally, and Israel is a friend. And from what I know, unless things have changed, it's the only country in the region over there that is really friends with America. And also, Israel is important to me because if it wasn't for Judaism, there would be no Christianity. And so, and I know that because of the human hearts are evil, that things are starting to change a little bit between Israel and America. And people don't like Israel. And some people, I guess, in Israel don't like America. But the reality is that if it wasn't for Israel, wasn't for Judaism, there would be no Christianity.
See, the way I see it is that America was founded in a natural way by Christians, and we have doctrine that provides us specific freedoms that were given to us by God. Israel was not formed in a similar manner.
What do you mean a natural way?
Meaning that just through the eyes of Christianity, it was formed on the basis of Christianity, and it was made for free men that were Christians. Whereas Israel was a heavily politicized event that was it was off the basis of a lot of other countries coming to support war efforts in the region to support the newfound country of Israel.
Well, maybe all that came about at some point, but when Israel was first established, when Judaism was established, it was about the spirit of the people. It wasn't about the physical location, but it was about the spirit, and that's how Christianity came about. Christianity is about the spirit of the people, not the physical location and who's fighting over who and all that.
Well, that exactly goes to my point. Why refer to them as our sister nation if it doesn't matter
because
about the
they are
aspect of it?
Well, because they are, just because human beings are evil and they're fighting one another, that doesn't take it away from the fact that spiritually we are one.
But why would God come down as Jesus to deny the rulings of the Pharisees for hundreds of years if there was not a spiritual crisis within Judaism?
You say if it was not a spiritual crisis?
Correct. If they had truly interpreted God's will correctly, would it be necessary for God to come down to earth and explain that we had misinterpreted his will? Not we, me and you, but, humanity.
Well, that's the purpose of Christ coming down, sent by his Father, God, so that because the heart of human beings were not able to carry out his will, live his will. And the letter, at that time, they were trying to live by the letter of the law, and they were not able to do it, so Christ came and created the spirit of the law, and now all who want it can return and live by the Spirit. And those who live by the Spirit, they no longer fight one another. They no longer hate one another. They no longer compare religion, one religion better than the other one. They are not into all that. But those who have not been born of the Spirit, they still fight over dumb stuff like which country is best, and who is who, and which religion is best, and you don't believe in Jesus, you deny Jesus. Those people are wicked. That's why they're fighting one another. That's why you must be born of the Spirit.
Why was there a need for them to create a country of their own if it was all about the Spirit? Wouldn't the spiritual faith that they have, wouldn't that be enough to allow them to prosper?
The same reason that we discovered and built America. White men discovered and created the greatest country on the world, but they did it with the spirit of the Father and not just the letter of the Father. The same reason, so Israel had to do the same thing.
I think if you look at the foundation, it's a very different founding.
Do you love the Jews?
When you look at the doctrine. Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, one of my best friends is Jewish.
You love
them, and that's one of the.
But I don't understand your question.
I 100%.
I don't understand your question then.
So originally, what kind of like got me intrigued is that somebody super chatted, and I think they referred to the Jews as like the small hat people, and you took offense to that. And I have a really good friend that's Jewish, and
because those are evil people. Anyone that if you don't love all, you love none. And the people who are calling the Jews, whatever you just said, straw hats or something, those are evil people, and anyone who agrees with them are evil. It's the same way with the blacks who call white people names and they blame white people. They call them racist and they call the white people.
Calling somebody names and poking fun at somebody is a totally different thing from actually hating somebody. Like,
no, it's not.
You can joke around with your friend.
But they're not.
It is.
They're
not. Joke around with your friends.
You think that the when they call the Jews straw hats, and then the people are calling white people white supremacists, you think they're playing around?
That's like a totally different thing. I mean,
how's that different? What's the difference between straw hat? What's the difference between straw hat and racist? Did you say straw hat?
Jews have integrated into Western society very well. However, if you look at how the blacks come across to the whites, they don't want to be part of our society. Unlike the Jews
who don't want to be
America, a part. A lot of black people that have an anger towards white people.
But that hasn't always been that way. When I was growing up, blacks want to be Americans. They were proud to be Americans. They knew that we were blessed to be here however we got here. And
but not
that
all
all changed when the blacks were made to be angry at the whites. so that they can use the blacks for personal gain, right? That changed then in the same manner that the people who were attacking the Jews, something happened along the way, somebody believed it, and a war started.
You think that World War II was started on the basis of people hating Jews?
I don't know why World War II started.
Well, I think that any historian or anybody that knows much about it would say that was a hugely contributing factor.
That they did it because they hated the Jews?
Yeah, I don't think that many historians would say that that was a logical reason for the war to break out. I mean, the Germans at the time had a pact where they had agreed with a lot of Jews living in Germany to help them relocate to the Middle East.
I don't know about all that stuff, right? And I don't care about all that. What I care about is that we got to return human beings back to the Father so that there could be love. We were created to overcome evil so that the Father can create love through us. And if you had real love, not mama's love, but the real love, then there would be no war. Not only would there not be a spiritual war, there would not be a physical war as well. But that's not going to happen until we return to the Father. And all this other stuff is just mess. It's just evil. You have evil people fighting with evil people. That's all that is.
Well, I think many people would agree that there's a drastic spiritual difference between Jewish and Christian practices. But
there's no difference between the Jews and the Christians who have been born spiritually of the Father. But yes, there are different practices because human beings are evil, so everybody got their own little practice of how they do things, and they think that what they do is better than the next one.
Even within Christianity, I agree. Even within Christianity, people practice differently.
Yeah.
And, there's Bible thumpers and whatnot, but the thing, you always say that the order of man is, God over Christ, Christ over man, man over women, women over children. So are the Jews, they don't have to be a part of that order because they don't recognize Christ? They get their orders directly from God?
Anyone who is born of the Father automatically come to order. That order. There's no other order but that order. And there's no other way. There's no other way but a return. There's no other way but a return to the Father. Everything else is vain. Vanity.
But can you return to the Father without going through Christ?
I don't know what you mean by going through Christ.
So, let's go back 2,000 years.
But because of time, because of hey, Luke, because of time, what do you mean by going through Christ?
I mean, understanding the New Testament, understanding that a lot of laws that were made through the Jewish faith actually impose their will on.
What do you mean by going through Christ? You said, is there another way other than going through Christ? What do you mean by going through Christ?
I mean by his lessons, by lessons of forgiveness and what is taught in the New Testament.
How does one go through Christ?
I tried to explain it. So if you don't understand the rationale, then...
How does one go through Christ?
That would be understanding the New Testament, forgiveness, and turning the other cheek.
That's not how one goes through Christ.
Would you...
Do me a favor, Luke, because of time, Hake going to be sitting there for me at the top of this hour. I got to get you some more call. Call me on Bible Thumper Thursday.
All right, I understand. This isn't a biblical thing, but I understand.
It's an amazing call, though. I appreciate your call.
Yeah, of course. I'm a huge fan. I love Scan. One of my favorite reads of the year.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Read the antidote. That's going to blow your mind.
Yeah, I read Rage from Rage to Responsibility when I was really young, and it just opened my eyes so much.
Well, stay with it, man. Really good question today. I appreciate them. But it's just that I'm running out of time, and I want to squeeze in calls and super chat. So, but call me again whenever you can. All right, buddy. Amazing. 888-7753. 773. Let me go to first-time caller out of Canada. What? Jameel. Is that how you spell it? Jameel, first-time caller. Yeah. Welcome to the show, Jameel.
How you doing? How you doing, Jesse?
All is well, sir.
Yeah, I've spoken to you in the past, maybe like a year ago, actually. It was funny because...
Oh, you called before?
Yeah, well, not into the radio show. I was going through something. I was in a weak moment, and I called, and I left a message. I think I called maybe your office or something like that.
How may I help you now?
Sorry?
What? Because of time, how may I help you now? What's going on?
Oh, yeah. So, no, I was just calling him because, you know, I was going through some stuff recently. I'm still going through it. And I watch you all the time. And so I was going through something with my mother. And the other day, I went to go work out. And it was insane because I thought about you, and I'm still thinking about it. I went to go work out. She calls me. And I started to realize a pattern that I never noticed before in my life. I think I knew the truth the whole time, but because I wasn't living with God in my life, I couldn't accept it.
Yeah.
She calls me, and then she says, "We need to talk when you have a chance." And then that's it. And I immediately started to vibrate my entire body, and I realized that the devil had just, like, those demons. The last show that you spoke about how many demons are in you, I realized that demon of worry, the spirit of heaviness had just entered me. I literally started to shake. It was insane.
Wow.
And you know, I always see you talk to people about these things. Like, I remember I watched an interview with you talking to I guess he was a preacher or a pastor or something, and he said that a demon kicked him off the bed, and you were laughing. He said, "What were you doing? The demon kicked you off the bed. That's a strong demon." And I was crying of laughter. It was so funny. But when I started to shake like this, I realized that every time I speak to this woman, I'm not speaking to my mother. I'm not speaking to somebody of God.
Yeah.
And as much as it hurts me, because the last time I spoke to you, you said to me, "Jameel, you need to get out of that house. There's no love there." And I finally got out, which is amazing. Praise God. But the thing is that I'm still tied to my family. But what it allowed me to do, being alone and being isolated, and I've lost so much over the last few months. I lost family. I've lost children, not like by death, but just from separation and isolation. It allowed me to realize I was praising people over God.
Yes.
It allowed me to realize that I was developing attachments to my daughter's mother that wasn't healthy. It allowed, and I was worshiping her, and through that I realized that she was actually losing respect for me every moment that I was allowing that. And I also started to realize that every woman that I've ever been with in my life thought my mother was a demon. Like, they would say, "Your mother is terrifying." And I was like, that's my mother. Like, it just never clicked. And the other day, she comes to me, and I'm saying this to you, Jesse. I know you're running out of time, but I think this is going to help people, and I just wanted to say it. And because I'm grateful for you. And I know that you say that people don't love nobody, but I've been watching you now for a while, and I have to say that I love you. I love your team, and I appreciate you guys. So I just want to get this out as quickly as I can. I realized that every single female that I've ever cared about was terrified of my mother. The other day I was talking to her. I went through some stuff, and I unfortunately ended up being arrested and all these things, ended up in jail, and I cried like a baby. To every man out there, when you go into a jail and you think you're a man outside, you're not a man in there. Just remember that. You go and cry. Everybody cries in jail. Every man that's a man outside, when they're in there, I don't care how gangster they are, they cry in jail. If you're a racist outside, you learn how to speak every language in jail because those are your only friends. You remember that.
Amazing.
Everybody that you hate outside will become your best friend in the jail because that's all you got. You remember that. Don't ever forget that. And God, and in those moments, I understand why. You know, I lost so many things, and I realized that when I got out, I started talking to my mother every day, and it made me realize, this woman is a gossip. She became more sad than I was, and I'm the one that lost everything. And I was like, what is going on here? So I cut her off. And when I cut her off, now she's calling me and saying she's worried about me. And I'm like, what are you worried about?
Yeah,
Like, what are you going to do? You're going to save me from something? You can't save yourself. You calling me because you want to make yourself feel better. You want to gossip and go through pain with me. You love your pain. You love your misery. And every moment that I speak to you, I'm being drowned in your misery, and it's not even mine. And the devil has me believing that every action that I take, I'm rejecting God. And I realize something. I can't reject God because God already accepted me as his son. And
Amazing.
he loves me. He loves me.
Jameel, I wish I could go. Amazing call. You can call me again on this. I'm running out of time. Hake is going to be sitting there for me at the top of this hour for the next hour. I have something I have to do. But an amazing call, man. Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it.
I appreciate you, Jesse. And everybody out there listening to Jesse, I don't know if everybody's going to take your word for word, take you verbatim and believe you, but there is truth in what you're saying, and God bless you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. Amazing call. Thank you. Amazing. Right. Amazing call. Really. I wish I could go longer with it. But the truth is not only for those who want it, only those who welcome it. Most people are not going to welcome the truth. It's always been that way, and it will always be that way. It's only for those who want it, it will show up. But if you don't want it, you're not going to get it. It's only for the few. Amazing. Super chat.
Super chats.
Over on Rumble, Prep Ham Paul's a monthly subscriber. It was about money and indoctrination. Talking about college and stuff.
Right.
At that time, it was at the college level. The indoctrination was at the college level.
Right.
Now it's all the way down to preschool. What the?
That's for sure.
That's insane.
It's a mess. What a mess.
Aries 1 with a diamond.
Thank you, by the way.
He also said, Aries 1 with a diamond. The entire economic system is a racket. Hake.
Yep. It's all about, they got everybody drinking water, right? Plastic bottles. And they said, don't use a glass, use a bottle, because the bottle make more money, right? And then now they said the bottle is not good. The plastic is not good. They want you to go back to the bottle. But thank you.
It's me, Xenia. Didn't the pipe burst during the 2020 election in Atlanta? Oh, yeah. True. Because I reported in Hake News about water mains bursting in Atlanta. It's out of control.
They burst again?
They've been bursting, lately. they have to boil their water because it's, contaminated now.
Who's running Atlanta now? What race?
I think the blacks.
Oh, that's my case.
Sharmy Peterson.
Thank you.
Coffee from Sharmy. Uncle Jesse, I'm a millennial, and I blame the helicopter parents. They didn't want us to have a hard life, so they sent us to college. I used to want to be a teacher, but no thanks. Trump 2024.
That's a good point. I don't want my children to suffer like I suffer. Yeah. And they set you up to suffer. Very good point. Thank you.
College funds and stuff like that.
Yeah. Amazing. Very, very good point. Thank you.
Someone bought a coffee. Jesse, do you notice that sometimes evil people really are able to keep a calm, almost patient demeanor? It's like Satan has a willingness to be patient in his attempts to deceive. Also, I've noticed he is persistent, willing to play the long game. Sometimes it seems hard to overcome the thoughts that just keep coming back over and over.
Just watch them. Don't fight them. Just watch them. Thank you.
Lil, Mother Teresa of employers, bought 3 coffees. Yeah, all cultures have their physical gifts. Blacks, gorgeous skin. Irish, great hair. East Indians, skin and hair. Latins, skin and hair. Look closely, we all have our gifts.
That's right. Amazing. Thank you. I got to do this. I got to end right now. Hake is gonna be sitting in for me from 8 to 9 hour, right? He's going to finish the super chats and all that. I'll be back tomorrow if the Lord is willing and the creek. All right. Hold on. Hake coming up next. Back in a moment. No men's meeting.
Introducing the silent prayer to my family instead of just sitting down and saying the same old prayer over and over again before we eat our meal, to just be silent, bringing all thoughts into captivity. Brother, that has been such a huge, huge blessing in our lives. I just want to encourage anyone to try that out. It's amazing to look around after we've done our silent prayer before we eat, to see the excitement in my kids' faces, like, oh yeah, Dad, I had a bunch today. Or the other one will be like, yeah, I had a couple things that I've been thinking about. It really takes root, Jesse, and so I want to thank you so much. And ever since then, it's been absolutely amazing. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, Tony. Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. You're going to know God and his love. It's going to be amazing, man.
A whole lot of mess going on in the world. AT&T, crazy outage the other day. Lionel Messi having a new sports drink, an energy drink. Whoa, Messi energy drink. And anti-Semitism propaganda. This is the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Wednesday, June 5th, AD 2024, as you may know. There is one line open. You can call in right now to get on hold, to get on air with Hake. I will be guest hosting. Hake is guest hosting hour 3 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. So join Hake for Manhood Hour. Isn't that ironic? Nice. So stay tuned. But first, Hake News, not fake news. So you can call in right now, 888-77-JESSE, 1-888-775-3773. There is no men's forum, guys. No men's forum this month, okay? Ordinarily, men's forums are first Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. at Bond in Los Angeles. Women's forums, third Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. at Bond in Los Angeles. Rebuildingtheman.com/events is where you can go to check, or you can call the Bond office, 1-800-411-BOND, 1-800-411-2663. AT&T has resolved their widespread outage nationwide. AT&T outage yesterday, Tuesday, left customers in the dark for hours. Pretty major network disruption. That's according to CNN, Call Me Nonsense Network. And Lionel Messi, he created a new sports drink. Did he invent it himself? Doubt it. Who does he think he is? Logan Paul, KSI? Was it Logan Paul? They made the other stuff. CNN says soccer superstar Lionel Messi, he is the Caitlin Clark of soccer. He will release his new energy drink next week. Despite his global fandom, industry experts say the beverage will still face a challenging market with long-standing competitors. So watch out. And you may just want to prefer to drink water, but not too much water either. So here's your anti-Semitism propaganda from CNN. 8,900 U.S. anti-Semitic, all one word, no hyphen, incidents were reported last year according to the evil, un-American, anti-Christian, anti-Jewish ADL, Anti-Defamation League, which makes a business of defaming people and making enemies for the Jews. Poor Jews. With a dramatic increase taking place since the Hamas attack on Israel. On Tuesday, the unchristian Attorney General Merrick Garland said he's, quote-unquote, worried. But Jesus said not to worry. But he's worried about a possible terrorist attack following the events of October 7th and actually the retaliation war, right, in Gaza, saying the threat level for the U.S. law enforcement has gone up enormously. Indeed, a whole lot of hot-headed people on many sides, Novak Djokovic is quitting. He's withdrawn from the French Open. My team and I have had to make a tough decision after careful consideration and consultation. Novak Djokovic, the tennis player, he's even better than LeBron James, due to a knee injury. The defending world #1 tennis champion was aiming to win his 25th straight Grand Slam singles title at Roland Garros later this week. By the way, he practically did the splits, thinking like he's Jean-Claude Van Damme. I don't think that's what hurt him, though. Not sure. Starliner is having a mission. Boeing's Starliner mission will make their first attempt at launching their next attempt. First attempt, they didn't do it. Launching 2 astronauts on a voyage to the ISS, International Space Station. Space is real, guys. You can call me and fight about it, and we'll have a nice, friendly fight. The historic mission, called the Crew Flight Test, was set to launch at 10:52 a.m. Eastern Time, so I guess that would have already happened just about 7 minutes ago at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. veteran NASA astronauts Bush Wilmore and Suni Williams, S-U-N-I Williams, set to ride aboard the Starliner capsule in a 24-hour flight. If successful, the 6th inaugural journey of a crewed spacecraft in U.S. history. I'm James Hake. Now back to the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, guest hosted by Hake, Hour 3.
To stand up strong, think the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am James Hake, filling in for the great Jesse Lee Peterson, and I love boomers. Do you love boomers? You better love boomers if you want to love anybody. This is the third hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. He is out for this hour, okay? He had to go take care of something. And so Hake is filling in. Hake of the Hake Report in the network alongside Joel Friday TV and American Anchor Baby. So shout out to JLP. Thank you for the opportunity to fill in for you guys. We will be taking your calls. This is the third hour. It's Wednesday, June 5th, AD 2024. Tomorrow is the first Thursday of the month, but there is no men's forum. So we got to take advantage of Manhood Hour, which is this third hour, the third hour of every Wednesday. Do we have that thing ready? So before we get to the calls, let's enjoy Manhood Hour.
What is a man? What is a man?
It's an adult human male.
Manhood. Hillary or President Trump?
I voted for Hillary Clinton.
Beta male. A man is a male who turns to man.
Alpha male.
Live right, be right, and lead the way.
Galib, you've always wanted to be a background dancer, and what are you now?
A dentist.
A dentist, and whose dream was that?
My mom's.
Richard.
Yeah?
You're still afraid of your mom. It's kind of like I'm not even hanging out with my friends. It's like I'm hanging out with your moms.
What are you talking about?
Then we're happy in our current role. But what I think we have to do as women is to step outside of that role and understand we also need to lead.
I know it because I know what mental illness looks like.
And the reason we need to lead is because we have fresh ideas.
One of the things that they propose is black folk not have to pay taxes.
And we understand how to listen.
And they don't say racist things, but what they say is they don't like something I said.
See, you don't need to be afraid of your moms.
Did you forgive your mother?
I'm working on it, man. I'm trying.
Terrible. Shout out to the Anchor Baby. I believe the Anchor Baby put that together. And along with Joel Friday made the original ones of those things.
Amazing!
So you can call in 1-888-775-3773, 888-77-JESSE. I know what mental illness looks like. It looks like that lady. Among other things, right? Among other things. We will be taking your calls. We have some stories to cover here on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. Let me get to a first-time caller here. Tom in Pennsylvania is on the line. Tom, thank you for calling and holding there. You are on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, guest hosted by Hake.
Thank you. I just want to do a commercial for a wonderful article that explains and predicts so much of what's going on. It's called the Frankfurt School, Conspiracy to Corrupt. And in one article, it sums up they were communist theoreticians that wondered why the West didn't fall after the Russian Revolution. And they said, oh, we have to do these things. And I'm 70 years old. I remember the drug, sex, and rock and roll, which is still very much a part of our culture. And that was not a spontaneous youth movement. And I'll just read real quick 11 things, their agenda: the creation of racism offenses, continual change to create confusion, the teaching of sex and homosexuality to children, the undermining of schools and teachers' authority, huge immigration to destroy identity, the promotion of excess drinking, emptying of the churches, an unreliable legal system with bias against victims of crime, dependency on state or state benefits, control and dumbing down of the media, encouraging the breakdown of the family. And there's other things. And they immigrated to the United States. They went to Hollywood. They control education and entertainment. And it's a nihilistic culture.
Yeah.
And that's why the young people without the church, Jesus Christ, is reality. Without that, there's a meaningless, purposeless, hedonistic life that makes you want to jump off a bridge if you take that too seriously. So I would encourage people to look. It's free. The Frankfurt School, Conspiracy to Corrupt, and you can put that in your...
That's pretty wild, man. I've heard of the Frankfurt School, and I remember reading about I don't know where I read about communism, but back in my early days of listening to the Jesse Lee Peterson show, I was looking up communism, and they talked about replacing the preachers, the pastors, with so-called psychologists and psychiatrists and experts and things. And and the other things that you mentioned about this racism stuff and degeneracy and self-indulgence and self-seeking, it is empty, and it's no wonder that a lot of people are committing the suicide.
Right.
What a mess.
And the kids are, they say, oh, this generation is a product of the previous generation.
Right.
And people, I'm Catholic, and the parts of the church are in heaven and purgatory, and the church on earth is militant. And we're in a war, and people want to be comfortable consumers rather than warriors. And that's why we've lost so much ground, and people have to wake up. And it is a spiritual battle. And this was written about. It wasn't a conspiracy. They lectured on it. They lectured in what you're seeing on campuses, all these protests and stuff like that. That's all a part of that. And there's threats within to the country from communism, but I would say that Islam is an external threat, and most Muslims are peaceful, kind people, but Islam per se is militant, and it will. When you look at Turkey, there's 0.2% Christian. It used to be almost 80-90% Christian, and
really?
That's just yes.
That's wild.
And yes, and so that's something to look into. And there's who was it? Robert Spencer. You could check out on that.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to be name dropping anything, but
all right,
I got your point.
But
now,
the Frankfurt.
You said it's a spiritual battle. How does one fight a spiritual battle?
Well,
because you said we need to be warriors. What does that mean?
Yes. How do you do that?
Yeah.
In my experience, all right, I am Catholic. All right. I know a lot of people think it's the Whore of Babylon and all that stuff, but
depends on the Catholic, I think.
Yes. Well, there are demons who call themselves Catholic, and that's like in any place, as long as human beings are in it. But you have you have, I go to daily Eucharist. I promote the faith. I try to get lapsed Catholics back to the sacraments. And I think knowledge, we perish for lack of knowledge. I have a reading list that I give to young people. I'm 70 now.
Yeah.
And I give it to them because I can't say all this. You know, I'm like a fire hydrant, you know. I start lecturing them when I first meet
That's
them,
funny.
and I'm in a hurry. But it's the communion with Christ, and that through the sacraments of the Catholic Church are the primary way. Now, he can operate outside the sacraments, and he doesn't need my permission to do so, but that is something that the church is historical and supernatural. The historical church is the Catholic Church. The Protestant phenomena is everybody picking up their Bible and starting their own church or whatever. They try to figure out for themselves. But he established a hierarchy, and if you read the early church fathers, and you can go to Catholic.com, that'll give you authentic answers, Catholic answers, and you can go.
I don't want to point people to sources necessarily, man. I just wanted to know what you meant by the spiritual battle.
But basically, you walk with Christ, and you ask him to help you conform your will all through the day. You would practice the presence of Christ. You say, all right, I'm walking out the door. What do you want me to do? And every encounter becomes can be informed by the grace of God, and that's what we want. And sometimes in my life, God has given me the words. Like in Scripture, it says, "Don't worry about what to say." Well, a few times I could tape it so I could listen to it later. What did I say? You know, and it's been extraordinary, and it's simple, and glory be to God.
How'd you find out about the show, Tom and PA?
I found out Jesse on YouTube, and then I got a notification says Jesse's live. And said, I like Jesse, and then so I started listening, and then he kept giving the number. I said, well, I'll call.
Right on.
And I did.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, it's great to hear from you. Call again, and hopefully you'll be able to get on air with JLP another day.
Hey, what's the email? I'm going to send you my reading list.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Producer at jesseleepeterson.com is the place to send your tips.
What is it?
Producer at jesseleepeterson.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, will do.
All right.
All right.
Appreciate you, Tom.
All right.
Bye.
God bless. Bye.
I love boomers. Somebody said, nah, boomers stink, but I love everybody. Shout out to Cozy. A little hat tip to Cozy.tv, guys. Did you know that not only can you dial the listen line 1-605-615-4131 to listen, say you don't want to use up your data, you want to listen, you can also go to cozy.tv/JLP and then click the headphones button, and it turns it to audio, and then you don't use as much data. Cool, huh? Make sure you follow JLP on all his platforms. JLP Talk on X, on Twitter. Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. Jesse Lee Peterson on Rumble. Shout out to the Rumble crew. Also on D Live. There's some holdouts on D Live. Nice. So do that. Go. Do it. I want to keep it moving. I don't know if he meant that. I think it's once a day to the producer. I think he just producer or phone answer. As for Luke in the UK, just a tip. You can call once a day. You can call every show you like, but it's one call per show per day. Jesse was just moving on from Luke in the UK in the last hour, and he was saying that he has to wrap things up. Yeah, so just thank him for the call. He's welcome to call the Hake Report, Joel Friday TV, American Anchor Baby, and Jesse Tomorrow. Nice. But thank you, Luke in UK. I would love to talk with you, but call my show or another day. Daniel in Texas is on the line here. Daniel, how are you doing, man?
I'm well, James. How are you?
Doing well as well. Good to hear from you.
Thank you. You were talking about chivalry.
Yeah.
Tell me what you know about chivalry, please.
All I know is that it has to do with being a gentleman, and it had to do with the medieval times being a Christian knight man, right?
Yes.
And so that's all I know. And then there was a picture that I showed from Wikipedia, and some of you guys were bashing me in the last hour as one of the experts for JLP, showing a picture of a knight bowing down to a woman, and the woman about to put the knight's helmet on his head. And that was a picture, that was the featured picture from Wikipedia of chivalry. And I'm like, that's terrible.
Yeah. Well, would you like to know a little bit about it? And
Sure.
I can be quick?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Once upon a time in high schools, they used to have an English class or something read a story called Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Did you ever read that in high school?
No, I definitely did not.
It's a story of King Arthur and one of his knights. It doesn't really center around King Arthur. It centers around Sir Gawain, and he basically goes on a quest, and it encompasses all of the tenets of chivalry. It has to do with honesty and honor and chastity, and that's what the story is about. And they used to teach this story in high school. The whole kneeling before women sort of thing, that is a very shallow understanding what chivalry is.
Well, that's our culture for the past, since I've been alive, ever shallower.
Yeah.
And so, of course, they would latch on to that part. So that was part of it, but just a small part.
Yeah.
Was that part a mistake?
Yes, it's a mistake. It's a mistake to say chivalry is dead, because if you say chivalry is dead, all of, honor, integrity, honesty, chastity, then you're saying those things are dead. And if you're going around saying that, just know that's what you're saying.
I mean, I know that that's commonly what they would say, and they were lamenting that it was dead. They weren't saying that it was dead as if that's a good thing.
Right.
They were saying that, oh, what a shame. They are, men are not men anymore, or whatever. Men are not gentlemen anymore, I guess.
But chivalry is basically synonymous with virtues.
Okay.
And so, this whole red pill manosphere thing that often criticizes chivalry,
Mm-hmm.
they don't know what they're talking about.
Interesting. But I was asking if it was a mistake, that part of chivalry that bowed to women.
Well, are they bowing to women, or are they kneeling in prayer, and the woman is assisting them?
Oh, I don't know.
So get it right.
The picture.
Get it right, manosphere.
Terrible. Interesting. All right.
So think on that.
Well, I appreciate your input on the chivalry question then. Appreciate it. Daniel in Texas.
Okay.
All right. Take care. Jaime in Minnesota is on the line here. Jaime, how you doing? You're live on the JLP show.
How are you?
Doing fine. Thank you.
That's good. Hey, chivalry, I heard that the knights, they would pick a woman who they didn't have any feelings for, and then they would make her their muse, like they would just shower her with honors.
Oh.
And do great deeds in her honor, in her name. not for any sort of like marriage or relationship, wanted to get with her or anything, just because.
I don't know. That sounds. I remember seeing like jousting fights, and they would take her handkerchief or whatever.
Yeah.
And use it for like good luck. I don't know. I don't like this.
Yeah, I've seen those movies too. The movies are lies.
Yeah, true.
But anyways, I wanted to talk about what that old man was talking about, that 70-year-old guy.
Tom in PA, and, the Frankfurt school.
Yeah, and he was talking about, the spiritual battle, and you had asked him, what does that look like? And in my opinion, this is just my opinion, it looks like speaking, oration, or that word, oration?
Uh-huh.
Being an orator, going to a concert hall or something and speaking your ideas.
Oh, really?
That, in a way that people can understand.
And that is the spiritual battle?
Right. It's the words that you say, and convincing others of that, or letting others know that these are the ideas. And the communist, Marxist side, the liberal side, they're really good at it.
Oh,
they're like crazy
deceiving.
Good.
Yeah,
they
have high verbal IQ.
Right, and Trump, the great Trump, he's really good at it too.
Yeah.
But you see, what I think the problem is today is that so many of the manly right side thinkers, the conservative side, they had been so denigrated because of that one Second World War. That one guy who was a really great speaker.
Oh, yeah, he was known
for the Germans.
Right, okay.
And so anytime a really strong man goes out and speaks, they
compare him to him.
Right.
They compare him to the most evil man ever to exist.
Right, and that's probably why the right side has stopped producing great speakers. And the right side has to get over that. The conservative side, they got to get over it.
True.
They're gonna call you that whether you do a good job or not.
Yeah.
It's just got to get over it.
You make an interesting point. I don't think that that's the whole spiritual battle at all. That is
no.
It is an important. It is an important part. But I think the spiritual battle is every moment. Every day, every moment, every person inside of themselves.
Right. And, when I was in school, I didn't do very good at public speaking.
Yeah. Me neither. I remember high school, they're like, speak up. I thought I am speaking up. I thought I am speaking up.
And something very interesting that old man, what was his name?
Tom in PA, Pennsylvania?
Tom in PA. He said that we would much rather live a life being consumers,
right,
rather than being warriors.
Yeah,
I wonder why I don't go out and speak. And I would be really bad at the beginning, sure, but it takes practice and all that kind of stuff. But I would much rather go to work and get my paycheck, pay my bills, and live that life.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's for everybody to be going out and speaking. And yeah, you don't want to be shy. You want to be able to present yourself in any situation in a powerful way, or with the power of God, right? In any situation. But like the Bible does talk about, live a quiet life. You know what I mean? Try to get along with all people as far as it depends on you. Which it doesn't depend on you very far sometimes. Some people you just can't get along with. And you should be not afraid to speak the truth, but a lot of times a lot of people will become like street preachers and things like that. And some are better than others. Some are just still vicious, evil, ego-driven people. You know what I mean? And same thing with right-wingers and protesters and big figures and... so those, you don't want to be misguided you want to be led by the Spirit, right? Led by what's right, what's before you, rather than trying to make your life turn into a great orator or whatever. That of a great orator.
And I was just speaking on what Tom. What is Tom from PA?
Yeah.
Was saying about the spiritual war. It's just, spreading ideas.
Yeah.
And the more people spreading the same idea, which is what the left side, the progressive side, is doing.
Right.
They have so many speakers going around speaking on human rights and trans rights and gay rights.
Yeah.
And women's rights and all these other things that it causes the masses to believe that because they're not hearing anything else.
That's not the only reason, though. The big reason is that people are just deceived. People are easily deceived, and they're prone to evil. Their hearts are evil, so they all swallow the lie. And I think that a lot of the right wingers and the Christians swallow the lie of anger and self-righteousness. And so there is no light coming from the right in many cases, in most cases. And so their ideas are losing because they're hypocrites, or they're dark people just like the rest. They're still evil.
Sounds good. Hey, have a good day.
All right, you too, Jaime in Minnesota. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, let's see. Ashley in Texas is on the line here. We'll plow through some calls, and then we'll get to I want to get to at least one story here that was funny to me. Ashley in Texas, thanks for calling and holding. You're live on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, guest hosted by Hake.
Good morning, Hake. How are you?
Doing fine. How about you?
Wonderful, wonderful. I think this is like the third time I've called in. I've been listening to you guys every morning when I get up after my silent prayer,
right?
And all of these things that I'm learning. But one thing that I just kind of wanted to chime in, if I could, about the spiritual battle or the spiritual war that we're talking about.
Okay.
So, first of all, I think the important thing is that we understand that there is a spiritual war. That there is that battle between good and evil. And I don't know if you guys would call me a Bible thumper or not, but I read it. And, excuse me, one thing that Scripture talks about is that our battle is not carnal, which means it's not, the battle is not between a person and another person. The battle is between the spirits that we carry versus the spirits that they carry. And when it says it's not carnal, it also says that the weapons are spiritual and mighty in the pulling down of strongholds. And so what I'm learning is that my spiritual battle is fought in prayer. I take these struggles that I have to the Lord, and He helps me to deal with these issues in the godly way versus an evil way. And what I can give you an example. This happened to me just yesterday.
Okay.
My husband was driving, and I was in the back seat. We were going to pick up my mother-in-law, and a car was behind us. And the car was aggressive, just really up on our rear, speeding really fast behind us, just an aggressive driver. And within me, I felt this anger. I felt this almost rage.
Were you driving?
He was driving.
Oh, okay.
Thank the Lord. He was driving. I wasn't driving. So I'm just kind of experiencing this, as it's going on. And so immediately I rolled down my window and I was ready to point my finger at her.
Wow.
And
a woman driver all aggressive? Typical.
Yeah, believe
Not typical.
that,
Sometimes,
right? Believe
oftentimes
that.
it is.
Right. And so, but immediately as I felt this anger, the Scripture came to me, do not repay evil for evil.
Nice.
And so that is that spiritual battle that when we feel the rise of anger or we see that injustice, that we don't react to it. That will only breed more evil in the situation.
Yep.
And the only way to overcome that evil is with good.
Hang on,
And
Ashley. I got to put you on hold. I want to talk with
Sure.
you a little bit more. We're coming to a break. We'll be right back, guys. This is the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, guest hosted in the third hour by Hake. Back in a moment.
We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven.
Isn't this a vibe? I forgot to open the treasure chest. We are opening the treasure chest over on DLive. Shout out to the DLive crew. DLive.tv/Jesse Lee Peterson. No chests. Move along. Let me check for any super chats before I get back to Ashley in Texas, because I don't want to leave you guys hanging. Some of the super chats came in for Jesse Lee, and you'll just have to wait till tomorrow. JLP ought to be back tomorrow or the next day. I forget what he's up to tomorrow, but we will read your super chats when Jesse's back, because they were addressed to JLP. I don't want to read your super chats, but I will shout out the people who did give. Let me just double check over on buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Wayne, I am that I am. The Key with your coffee. Black Angel. Sharmy Peterson, another Sharmy coffee. Thank you for your coffees. We will read them when JLP is back. I don't want to shortchange you by reading them when Jesse's not here. You know what I mean? Nice. Shout out to the top contributors. Aries1 over on DLive. Kid Combo 1.0. Misty. Wolf336 and the rest of them. Shout out and thank you for the Diamond Lemons on DLive. Nice. Okay, let me get back to Ashley in Texas.
Amazing.
Nice. Ashley in Texas, thanks for calling. You're back on
Hi,
air.
Hake.
Hey.
Hey. So, a lot of what Jesse teaches is foundational truth. If we could take away the complex of the world and understand simply what he's saying, it reflects to Scripture.
Right.
Forgiveness, seeking out your relationship with the Father, the seeking out the right things that we need in our life. And those right things I'm 40 years old this year, and, all of those right things I have found in Scripture. And so when it comes to our spiritual things, we have to consciously take an effort to help our spirit. Does that make sense? Like, we can't sit back and wait for God to wave this wand and everything makes sense. We have to consciously seek after him and seek after his righteousness. And so that, the spiritual battle is ours. We have to participate in that actively.
How do you do that?
Yesterday, how do I do that?
Yeah.
I think about what I'm thinking about.
Oh.
In the moment. You know, of course, yesterday I could have very easily let my anger take hold. We could have chased her down and, you know, all of the things.
You would have had your husband chasing her down?
Well, he probably wouldn't have listened, which is good, which is great,
That's
right?
funny.
He shouldn't listen to me and my bad advice.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah, for sure, because that would be bad. That would not be the way that God would have me to react to that. If I were to lash out at her, like I said, it would just bring on
And what did
more
she
evil.
really do other than just buzz around you guys? Yeah, it was a little bit
Exactly.
dangerous.
Yeah.
She really didn't
Yeah.
do anything to you. It was
Exactly.
just go a little bit
My
close, not
reaction.
driving safely, but
Sure.
that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. And so we have that choice on whether we make it an issue or not. And I chose not to make it an issue. Thank God. You know, now, do I do that all the time? No. I'm striving to do better every day. And I think that's the goal of it all, is each day you put your best foot forward, you know, to keep as much drama or whatever you want to call it out of your life. But a lot of it has to do with us and our response.
You definitely want to watch yourself. And what did you mean by prayer to the Lord and taking your issues to the Lord? How do you do that?
So, like, I have prayer every morning. I go in my little closet, you know, as Scripture says, and that's when I would present that to an issue to Him.
Oh, so
And-
you would
and
be
I'm
like,
talking
hey,
maybe-
this is bugging me.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. And more of it is internal. It's not external. God, we
So
can
like
see,
an internal problem. Oh, my pride and anger is bothering me. Is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely. Yes.
And that helps you?
Not absolutely. Yes. He shows me in areas where I need to be humble. He shows me in areas where I need to have peace. And so in those areas, I will have to practice more because that's a difficult issue for me. Does that make sense?
I'm
Like
not
if,
sure. I don't think so. Because
okay.
If he's showing you where you need it, how do you know that's him showing you where you need it? And doesn't he give you peace and give you patience and give you humility?
You have to ask for it.
Don't those things come
You
from
have
God?
to ask for it. Yes, but you have to ask for it because it's not natural. It's not a natural human emotion. My natural human emotion is to have anxiety, stress, and worry, not peace. And so where Scripture talks about that peace is a fruit of the Spirit, you have to ask God for that fruit, right? You have to ask, because it comes from Him. It's not something I can.
So do you have to keep? Have you asked for that, and then you keep on having to ask?
No. Once you ask, what He does is He reveals it to you in those situations to where you or I have the choice. Do I choose to be angry or do I choose to let it go? But if you're not aware,
How did you figure this? Is that in the Bible that it says something that you have to choose to be angry or choose to let it go and choice and all that stuff?
I believe so. Yes.
It's in the Bible?
I believe so. Now that I don't know. I'm just being honest. I'm not for sure. I know that's something I've learned in my walk with the Lord, that I myself cannot manifest peace or patience or kindness. That's something that has to come from the Lord. My human nature is hatred, jealousy, envy, all of those things. And so the spiritual battle is essentially between my flesh, which is the weaker state, versus my spirit, which is the godly state. And so that choice is a choice we make every day in every situation. do I choose to do this the godly way, or do I choose to do this my way? And my way, from what I've discovered, will always lead me to anger, more jealousy, more resentment, more bitterness.
I don't know, Ashley. I don't know if you have it figured out the way that it really is.
Can you help me? I mean,
I don't know if I can help you, but I don't know
time.
if, because what you're describing sounds like what everybody, even non-Christians, go through, trying to find ways to have peace in life and respond well in life. And it sounds like a I don't know. It just doesn't sound satisfactory. It doesn't sound.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's amazingly satisfactory.
If it's amazingly satisfactory, I don't know. I don't buy it. How is it amazingly satisfactory if you don't have perfect peace?
I do have perfect peace, but each one of us will experience a situation to disturb that peace.
Yeah, because I don't know if you actually do have perfect peace. How do you figure that you have perfect peace?
Well, perfect peace. I know for sure that I don't struggle with forgiveness like I used to. I don't struggle with, Scripture talks about that our walk is a marathon. This is a long journey.
Right, but you said you have perfect peace. I challenge that you have perfect peace, because it sounds like you're making excuses about and like rationalizing your lack of peace.
Wow.
Is that not the case? Am I wrong? I could be wrong.
No, that's not wrong. I mean, you're right. You're wrong. I'm sorry. No, that's not right.
Oh, okay. So you do have peace.
Absolutely. You can't have.
But how did you get troubled by that driver?
Well, it's a circumstantial reaction.
You definitely become wary, of course, because that's a physical danger. But you had to remember about this Bible verse about that stuff, and then going to God with all these things, and then choosing between your evil nature and your good nature, and believing in choice. I don't know about this choice stuff. I don't know. It doesn't ring true to me fully. You're using biblical stuff, but you're also using extra biblical stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I've been in therapy for 6 years, so that kind of adds to some of that information. The things that we know as a basic human being. But, it's the same as if
was it
you
Christian
were
therapy?
Walking down the road. Can I ask you just a question? Yes.
Was it?
Yes, sir.
It was?
Yes.
I don't trust the Christian therapists.
Well, no.
They're worldly,
I take
too.
that back. No, she's a regular therapist. But she doesn't, we can talk about God, and she doesn't hold back. But it's not like a set-apart Christian therapist.
Oh, okay. She happens to be Christian?
Yes.
And it's a woman?
Yeah. I hear you.
What about your husband?
You, okay? So I will have you know that things are changing in my life to where I'm coming out of therapy now.
Oh, okay.
I had a pretty rough childhood, and so I want to add this as well. So maybe I can help you, or you can help me.
All right.
So I believe our relationship with God starts with forgiveness. Okay, that's where it starts, that we seek forgiveness for our wrongdoing. I grew up pretty rough. Was abused, neglected, all of those things, right? And I never, even in my search for God, I couldn't find that peace that you're talking about. I couldn't find that settledness within myself. There were, I've been diagnosed with PTSD and all of these other things.
Yeah.
Not taking them on as an identity, but used that to be able to help myself through therapy. And so this just happened about 2 months ago. the Lord was using the scripture to help me understand some things about him. And in that understanding of him came this full view of forgiveness. And where I had not forgiven my mother, where I had held some grudges and held some resentment towards her. Now, it doesn't matter. So when, and I'm not in a situation where I can actually go and confront her, okay? And that's okay. But what I understood was I had not completely forgiven her. I had not just accepted the fact that she did the best she could and that she was evil within herself, and I hadn't done all of that. But once I understood this bigger picture of forgiveness, it came immediately. And along with that forgiveness came peace. That peace that you're talking about, it's an overall peace that no matter what anyone does or anyone says, I can forgive them. I can work, we can, act like it never happened. Now, that doesn't mean I excuse you currently, right, for your behaviors, but I forgive you for all of those things. And once I got that forgiveness and that peace, that's what I had been looking for all along.
Nice.
Now, has this, and so I guess something I would ask you, or maybe you have some advice on. So go back to the situation yesterday. In that situation, I didn't have peace, right?
Yeah.
I was
So then you didn't have
frustrated.
perfect peace.
But is it not based off of circumstantial things? So
Circumstances
if you were
shouldn't
walking
disturb your
down
peace.
a road, okay, but let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If you're walking down a
I don't
road
think.
and someone comes up behind you and they've got a gun,
Mm-hmm.
what is your reaction in your body?
Fight or flight.
To be right.
Uh-huh.
And then you have a choice, right?
I don't know
What
if you
do
have a
I
choice
do?
or not.
Well, of course you do. You can turn around and hit the guy if you want. You can turn around and fight him, or you can flee, like you're saying. Or you can freeze and not do anything, and then there's no response. So the body has a natural response that it will give in case you're in danger or, something of that nature. So that will disrupt your peace, but then you are able to make that choice and bring that back. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure. You
Okay.
you have to know that for yourself, because
Okay.
it may have, because you're not the one driving, so you had no choice in the matter.
But I
If you were
did.
spiritually
I could, but
disturbed,
I
if you were
did.
spiritually disturbed to the point where you had to remember a Bible verse about forgive others their wrongs, then
No, it was
it's just-
don't repay evil for evil.
right,
And that's
same
what
thing.
I needed to hear in that moment, because I was ready to repay her evil. I was ready to tell her about herself.
See, that has nothing to do with physical fight or flight. That's a spiritual disturbance of your peace.
I have to disagree.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's definitely your life, and you have to know within
Correct.
yourself
Yeah.
your own
Yeah.
spirit. I'm just saying what you described to me. It didn't. I remain unconvinced, but I definitely liked hearing this conversation. Appreciate it, Ashley in Texas.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, call again. Take care.
I will. Okay,
All right.
bye-bye.
Bye. Man, Gabriel in Canada, Toronto, Canada. What's up, Gabriel?
All is well. Greetings, James. How are you?
Hey, doing fine. Thank you.
Cool. Amazing callers you got there on JLP show.
Yeah.
I just wanted to. So many things I wanted to point out, but let's stay to the topic.
Yeah, we have to
What I
wrap it
wanted
up
to
quickly
say.
here. Go ahead.
Yeah. When I first realized about the true meaning of love, it it made me to see what I know about Islam, like a message of God from Islamic point of view, even more clear. For example, and I think many Muslim brothers and sisters who suffering is them from simply not understanding true meaning of love. For example, somewhere in Islam, whether it's Hadith or Quran directly, God says that the kingdom of heaven is lays by the feet of the mother. Then another example where Prophet was approached by a man and he was asked, who do I have to love more, father or mother? Prophet said mother. And then again,
Whoa.
and then, so 3 times he said mother. And only then father. And there was another example I forgot, but what I'm trying to say here is that true meaning of love, it's not emotion. True meaning of love is to do what's right, to be logical and reasonable, and to show father's love. So, for example, in personal life, Jesse had a caller who talked about like how he noticed with his mother when she was calling him that he wasn't talking to her per se. He was talking to the evil spirit. I had that in personal life experience almost every day. So what I mean by that is that when mother, like Muslim brothers and sisters, what that means when mother is wrong, you have to correct her. You cannot sit there emotionally and say, yes, yes, mama, yes, yes. You have to say, no, mom, that's wrong. And that's a true love, right? So when Prophet said you have to love your mother 3 times more than the father, to me now I understand is that father technically he's on the right to begin with most of the time. It's the mother you need to work with. It's the mother who's going to get you down, and you have to forgive her, overcome her, and the kingdom of heaven is guaranteed. Oh, there was another example when Prophet said, man who has 3 daughters, if he raises them well in terms of like a modest and good for the family,
yeah,
paradise is guaranteed. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And another example when God said the paradise is guaranteed, again, it matches with Jesse Lee Peterson's message about love, is when there was a man, he did what everyone else did, like nothing extra, but Prophet said he'll be in heaven, so people tried to find out what he was doing extra. And then he said, when I go to bed, I have no hate in my heart. I forgive everybody, every night, you know? So, and Prophet said he also goes to paradise. So what I'm trying to say is with a true message of true love, it makes perfect sense. And message for brothers and sisters in Islam, contemplate on what I'm saying. Maybe you'll find your peace. And Ashley, the last caller, lady.
Yep, Ashley in Texas.
I mean, this idea that's been taught to us that we can choose is a confusing idea.
Yeah.
When you of God, when you're in a state of peace, by default, humble, it's very difficult to choose chaos, which is of evil. So once you attain that peace with God, like per se me, when I see chaos coming out of her, I realize it's not my mother. It's that spirit that controls her. It doesn't drive my evil spirits out anymore because I understand. I just almost like with no emotions, I correct her. Doesn't matter how she reacts, I just correct her. I correct her, and I don't react to her. You know what I'm trying to say? So there's no choice in that sense. Once you're with God, you remember God, you cannot go wrong. You will go wrong if you forget about God, if you replace God with like things of this world, whether it's money, status, what have you,
selfishness,
etc. Yeah,
the idea of yourself. Interesting, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Might be good advice. Appreciate it, Gabriel in Toronto, Canada. I got to run, man. Good to hear from you.
No problem. Have a good one. Great stuff, guys.
Thank you. Take care. Bye. The chat's going off on the Muslim guy. Shout out to the Muslims. Wow, I don't really have time to get to Rick in Hampton, Virginia, and the rest of the callers. The Jesse Lee Peterson show is wrapping up here. We do have the Hake Report coming up afterwards, right after this. I couldn't get to my story that I wanted to get to about a woman who took a Spirit Airlines flight, and then her bag got stolen full of Apple stuff, and she tracked it to an airport employee's house in Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood Airport. And it was a guy who worked at a retail store. So she thinks it's a whole scam. She checked her bags. Normally she doesn't check her bags. Terrible story. We'll have to cover it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show another day. Joel Friday TV is coming up after Hake. American Anchor, baby, after Joel Friday TV. The Hake Report is coming up next, guys. Again, no men's forum this month. Normally it's first Thursday of the month, but not this month. So rebuildingtheman.com/events. rebuildingtheman.com/events. Thanks for joining the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and we'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Take care.
I know we can find a way to man up and stand up for what's right if we give our plans up. I know we can have faith in the unseen while we stand up and get back to the way we were designed to be.
So you get something went wrong, but
Jack, I had to get on the track one time. Joel Friday here. Jack, look, stand up, we got fighting to do. We gotta show him who boss. He put a Viking in you, he put that lightning in you, igniting the truth. But you beg and blame and lie and hate and never wanna stand for the truth. So what you planning to do? You understand in the loop. You better go talk to your mama, better stop with the drama, better drop all the trauma. Boy, you better stand up and up. Put your hand up and hut. Cause if you don't, then we lose, and then we gotta hear the fake news. Whoa.
you must know that's so you get something went wrong, but face the truth about yourself and just seek first God's kingdom, cause you must know that's so you get something went wrong, but face the truth about yourself and just seek first God's kingdom, cause
So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer, and I want you to start doing it. You just download it, get the points of how to do it, and then after a while, you just do it on your own. It's going to point you in the right direction that your life will be returned to you from God. He will give you your life back, because anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering, or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. Other than sex, I wonder, why would a man even need a woman today? Women don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. They're in competition with men. They don't want to be wives and mothers. Some want to get married, but they don't want to live in that proper position. of life. Because the only purpose of marriage is to have a family. And that's been known forever. And so if you don't want to have children, there is no need to get married. And so I was wondering, why would a man even get married today? I never thought I'd see the day when women would come out of her natural role and be like a man. Even though she hate that role, when she was with a man that's weak, she hate him. But if he try to be strong, she'll stop it. I never imagined that. You're seeing good destroyed and abnormal is presented as normal.